Back have decided to try something new. So I collected 7 codes inside the Sun, picked my date and got 2 free tickets to Alton Towers Resort worth over £110. Now I'm on the Wicker Man. Can I change my mind? Pick up the Sun this Saturday. T's and C's apply.
Nissan Sunderland factory is building cars again, and we're ready to get Britain moving. That's why this summer selected Nissan models come with a 3-month payment holiday, plus free roadside assistance, all at only 0% APR representative. We've built the cars, we've built the offers. Now it's time to get you back in the driving seat. See how we can help you at nissan.co.uk/payment holiday. And together, let's move beyond. PCP Nissan Finance. Order and register by 30th September 2020. Participating dealers only. Nissan. Innovation that excites.
EFL Live on TalkSport 2.
So even if you concentrate really hard, it's near on impossible to separate Portsmouth and Oxford United this season. They've played 3 times, drawn 3 times. They both have a raft of attacking match-winning threats. I suppose it was destiny, then, that the playoffs would be needed to finally decide this matter. Oh, and this matters. So even if you concentrate really hard, it's near on impossible
Curtis brings the ball down on his chest, left-hand side, drives it across the fence and goal. Oh, John Marquis has won it for Portsmouth.
Oxford straight away with Taylor in the area. Taylor! He's done it! It's 1-1! Matty Taylor!
In terms of our training, it has given us a purpose, it's given us something to aim for. That's been a long wait, we understand that, but it's here now, and we've got to do everything we can to go up.
When people are looking from the outside, we're the underdogs in the tie. However, we've got great belief in each other, so we're really looking forward to the game.
He gets it back. Here now is Harness. He's clean through on goal. Edge of the area, miscontrols and it breaks for the shot from Marquis. It's still not cleared. Harness again, and he slots it in the back of the net. And Portsmouth lead.
Here's Jamie Mackie to finish it, and he drives the ball low and hard and through the legs of Ben Williams and into the net.
Laid off neatly by Williams, and there's a super goal from Ronan Curtis, firing it home from 25 yards out.
Playoff drama live tonight again here on TalkSport 2, and what a good way to start proceedings as well this evening at Fratton Park. Portsmouth will be pleased to begin this playoff tie at Fortress Fratton, where they have an unbeaten record, but without the crowd, without that vociferous atmosphere, how much changes? The Oxford boss Carl Robinson will be hoping plenty. They compete in the playoffs for the first time in the club's history. Maybe it's something they'll be really good at. I'm your host, Dan Window, alongside our commentary team of Jim Proudfoot, and I'll summarise the former Portsmouth and Oxford man, David Conley. Dave, Pompey at home, the finest in the EFL. But this is a very different Fratton Park tonight.
Yes, Dan, you're right. Obviously no fans, cardboard cutouts, that's about it. I've got to say the pitch looks absolutely fantastic. It's all set up. I think they're very, very confident. Behind the scenes, a little bit nervous, I guess, because I think they're a bit worried about what's coming next if they don't get promoted. So I think there's an awful lot hinging on this game. Look, positive result here. They can obviously go up towards Oxford, try and defend it, which they're very good at doing. So I think a win here will be vital for Pompey.
11 goals this season coming in off the left-hand side. Oxford, Dave, have to come up with a way to deal with Ronan Curtis.
Yeah, look, he's a tremendous player. We know that. He's arguably their talisman, their best player, you'd say, the most saleable asset as well. Terrific coming in off the flank. They missed him when he was injured. He's back fit now. So, yeah, obviously they've got a problem on that left-hand side. Oxford
have got to make sure that Matty Taylor's not left isolated, Dave. The likes of Brown, the likes of Henry, the likes of Woodburn. Got to get close to him.
Yeah, and look, if you remember, you go back, what was it, February? He was League One Player of the Month. He got 7 in 7. He can finish. You know, he will get away from you. We've seen that in the Cup against Premier League opposition. You give him a chance, he will take it.
So little separates these two. You know, dig in. The importance of being patient. I think both managers will be talking about that. Well, just some of those final words they'll be having with the players' instructions before they both come out at Fratton.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, the sort of the situation we find ourselves in, will that have an impact on the actual game on the pitch? So the fact there's going to be stoppages, there's no ball boys, is it going to take a while for the ball to get back in play, the drinks breaks, all these little things, lack of crowd, who's that going to affect, who's that going to hinder the most? Will Oxford technical ability in their passing, their high tempo play, is it going to be affected by maybe the ball being out of play a little bit more often than it normally is? We'll be able to cope with physical, the physical power that Pompey possess. All these things will come into play, so it's going to be a real game of chess. Look, these two sides, it's always very, very tight. I can't see this one being any different.
All right, don't forget, live later, 7:30 starting in Danta. Chris Owellamo call the League One playoff first leg, the other one between Fleetwood and Wickham here on TalkSport 2. The TalkSport network continues to give you the option to listen to games with or without crowd noise. You can choose whichever way suits you the best. We're using clips from past live action across the stations. If you want to listen without, you can get that at talksport.com. League 2 threw up some staggering stories. What will League 1, the playoffs, provide us with? Let's find out as we get started at Fratton Park. Little between these two all season long. Who can garner the early edge? It's Portsmouth against Oxford with our excellent commentary team of David Connolly. But first, Jim Proudfoot.
And so 11 months to the day after the League 1 season started, we reach at the business end of the campaign. Never has the conclusion of a season been so imbued with controversy. The rights and wrongs of an unprecedented situation been so hotly debated, but the bottom line is that that landscape is now clear. 115 days since they last kicked a ball in anger, Portsmouth renew their love-hate relationship with the playoffs, a system which has never brought the best out of them. Happy Pompey memories in the playoffs? Well, you can count them on the thumbs of one foot. In their 3 previous playoff campaigns, they failed to win a single match, let alone engineer an aggregate victory that will take them to Wembley. In these parts, they still remember 1993, when Ian Ormond-Droid's outstretched leg proved highly significant for Leicester, in what the locals here will tell you was an offside position. That team, led by Jim Smith, had missed automatic promotion on goal difference. They finished 9 points clear of 4th place, but they lost the playoff semi-final. That, of course, ancient history now, but last season's failure against Sunderland, particularly in the second leg here, where they simply didn't do themselves justice in a goalless draw, will certainly be drawn upon for motivation. Well, Oxford's layoff has been even longer than Pompey's. It's 18 and a half weeks since lockdown curtailed their promotion charge, with the U's having been in blistering form. 5 straight wins have reignited their challenge, and they had 4 of the bottom 6 left to play. Talk of whether they would have caught Rotherham is now academic, but their 21-year wait for a return to the top 2 divisions could soon be over. It's been a bumpy ride over the last couple of decades, falling out of the league before making steady progress back up. But Carl Robinson's assembled the club's best team of this century. He's won promotion from this division before. You wonder if, for Oxford, this is the last opportunity for this particular set of players, whether the team will have to be broken up for economical reasons if they don't get the job done. Well, a reminder of the 2 starting lineups. Pompey in their blue shirts, white shorts and red socks. Bass in goal. McCrory, Burgess, Raggett and Brown. Morrison, McGeehan. Harness, Cannon and Curtis. And Harrison up front. Oxford in white shirts with a yellow and dark blue sash and dark blue shorts. Eastwood in goal. Long, Dickey, Moore and Ruffles. Woodburn, Gorin and Brannigan. Henry, Taylor and Brown. Well, this, of course, the first game at Fratton Park since coronavirus struck. And before the game starts, we will observe a minute's silence in memory of more than 43,000 people who've lost their lives in the UK alone, and also to give thanks to the service of those in the NHS and other frontline workers during our hour of need. This weekend marks the 72nd anniversary of the inauguration of the NHS, incidentally, and the start of it. And there will be a minute's applause before all of the games over the course of this weekend, just to mark that particular occasion. Well, the referee has just gone through the formalities with the two skippers, Lee Brown and also Rob Dickey. And Gavin Ward, the ref, just races over to the fourth official on this near touchline, Matthew Donoghue, and just gives something to the fourth official, makes his way back now. Pompey will kick from left to right in this first half, but before the game starts, the players will take a knee. Well, the two games between them this season finished all square. The clubs themselves finished dead level on PPG. This could be a tie where the finest of margins are critical, with a Wembley date against Fleetwood or Wycombe awaiting the winner. We are underway. Portsmouth kicking from left to right, defending the Fratton end of the ground here at Fratton Park. Just a stone's throw from the coast as Oxford work the ball forward, and it's straight through into the hands of goalkeeper Alex Bass, who's been first choice since the turn of the year. He's come through the academy here, having had excellent loan spells at Salisbury and also at Torquay, where his time was injury curtailed. His long ball forward. There's a push by Bryn Morris in the midfield. Oxford have the first free kick, which will be taken back 12 yards or so inside their own half. It's taken by the Spaniard Alex Rodriguez-Gorin, the former Motherwell player, and it's worked out towards the right-hand touchline, where Henry will look for the run forward from long, but it's past him, out of play for a throw which will be taken over on the Portsmouth left-hand side. It is 0-0 on TalkSport 2, first leg of this playoff semi-final. The first leg of Fleetwood Wycombe to come later, of course, from Highbury Stadium, but alongside me for this one is David Connolly.
Good evening, Jim. We're just looking at how both sides are setting up here. I mean, Pompey have gone long a couple of times, haven't they, Jim? Up to the front. Got Ellis Harrison up there. Obviously, he's good with his back to goal as well, and he's got the pace to run in behind. I guess it was probably a tight call between him and Mark Quist for that lone striker role. But Oxford very confident on the ball. You can see when there was a set piece, a little free kick there, they spotted the ball right. Can we go and play? And that's what Oxford and Carl Robinson here will be looking to do. When the ball is in play, can we get it moving quick?
Well, McCrory's just played the ball down the right-hand touchline. There was a slight lack of communication between him and Andy Cannon. Cannon caught on his heels and didn't chase the pass that was played his way. And the net result of that is a goal kick, which will be taken by Simon Eastwood, who was part of the Portsmouth side that was relegated from League One back in 2013. Nearly 200 Oxford games are behind him now. He will smite it forward from in front of the Milton end. Pompey win the seconds in the midfield and quickly work the ball out on the left-hand side, and they have the first corner as Lee Brown takes on his man and fires in a cross which is deflected away.
Well, look, it is windy, isn't it, here, Jim, coming in. I mean, he nearly got blown off the road, and obviously all our paperwork here is nearly gone as well, but really poor kick from Simon Eastwood. His first one, his first goal kick, and he skewed it completely wrong, and it set Pompey on the attack.
So the first corner will be swung in right-footed by Harness in towards the penalty spot. It just took a little deflection off one of the Portsmouth players in there. They can recycle it. McGeehan works it back in, high up and under from him, and they're not taking any chances. James Henry at the far post got his right foot caught underneath it and hooks it behind for another corner. This one taken very quickly. Bright start this from Portsmouth. Kicking from left to right here at Fratton Park. A high up and under, swung in towards Harrison at the far post, but his header is comfortably dealt with by Eastwood. It was going wide. The Oxford goalkeeper just got his hands behind it, was able to make a comfortable save, and now will bowl it out for Josh Ruffles to try and get Oxford going, and there was no way through past McCrory, who has left Marcus Brown on the deck. And then it's a free kick which will be taken by Oxford right in front of the Portsmouth technical area. Taken by Josh Ruffles, who scored the late winner in the last game that Oxford played at Shrewsbury, which ended up ensuring the playoff place. It was so close between the four sides that got in the playoffs, and the two that missed out just beneath them. Brown works it wide for Henry here for Oxford, who can make their way forward towards the edge of the Portsmouth penalty area for the first time. But Brown is there, the former Bristol Rovers defender, and can clear. Finding Harrison holding it up neatly. McGeehan is in space, and the tall blonde-haired midfielder who's on loan from Barnsley receives it with his back to the direction of play. and then turns it back for centre-half Raggett. From him to Burgess, who's playing his last game at Fratton Park today as a Portsmouth player. It's his third playoff campaign with the club. And he will work it down the right-hand touchline when McCrory just ran out of room, and it's gone out for a throw which will be taken on the Oxford left. 0-0 here on TalkSport 2 with 5 minutes gone. David Connolly.
Well, you can hear Carl Robinson, can't you? Absolutely kicking every ball. Kenny Jackett, very calm and composed on the bench.
Oxford able to bring the ball forward here towards the edge of the penalty area. Brown got his angles right as Woodburn fired one in. Now a cross comes in, which is too close to Alex Bass, and the goalkeeper can make a comfortable catch on the edge of the 6-yard box and just waits for players to make their ways upfield and just try and calm things down. Bouncing the ball once, twice, and then firing it, a long, deep kick in towards the edge of the penalty area at the other end. It was an awkward one for Long to defend. And Harrison, just with a little surreptitious shove on the defender, has ended up giving a free kick away, which Oxford will take on the right-hand side of their own box. 5.5 gone, 0-0.
Well, Alex Bassey gets really good distance, doesn't he, on his kicks, and Harrison, that's what will give you that physical presence, and he gets up in the air really well. He's got good feet. But just looking at how they're setting up Pompey when they don't have the ball out of possession, it's pretty clear that Harrison is standing on Rob Dickie because he's the one they don't want the ball to go to. You know, he's probably the better of the two centre-halves, so they're just inviting it. Go on then, you play on to Elliot Moore, and then maybe we'll go and play off that.
You would imagine that unless Oxford get promoted, Rob Dickie certainly will be playing his football elsewhere next season. He's had another wonderful campaign for the U's, and Dickie's got more work to do here as a shot comes in, hits the post. On the follow-up, they can't make the most of the opportunity, and Eastwood is there to gather. But what a start that would have been for Portsmouth.
Terrific strike there, Ronan Curtis, off that left-hand side. From distance, outside the box, hit the base of the post, but what a turn from Andy Cannon. I mean, that number 10 position for Pompey has changed hands so many times. He's got it tonight. Terrific little turn and pass out to Curtis.
Well, would have been the 50th senior goal of his career. The Irish international, who is the leading scorer this season with 13, although his last goal came back in January. Obviously, that's not quite as long a barren streak as it sounds, but it does still constitute 11 games without a goal for Ronan Curtis. And desperately unlucky there with a shot that just came back, hit the post flush, and just didn't quite break for Cannon before Eastwood could make the save. So Portsmouth on top, you'd say, in the early stages here. It's Elliot Moore in possession for Oxford on the left of the two centre-halves, into the feet of Brannigan, back for Moore again, and work forward into the feet of Marcus Brown, who looked as though he was shoved to the ground by Morris, but play's allowed to continue, and Curtis will be able to make good ground again down the left-hand side, and this time the whistle does go, as Curtis just had the run on Long, who came across and brought him down, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Portsmouth, about 10 yards from the dead ball line and 3 or 4 to the left-hand edge of the penalty area.
Well, if the fans here, they'll be really pleased because they've started so well. I mean, they're winning the ball back to turnover, and then they're going really quickly. Obviously, Curtis down that left-hand side, Cannon in the number 10 position. Really good here.
Well, Harness will go across to take this. Harness preferred to Ryan Williams in the starting lineup for Portsmouth. They've actually pulled the ball back nearer the edge of the penalty area, which gives them a slightly more favourable angle to work it in here. There are 5 in royal blue inside penalty area waiting at the near post. Curtis stands on the penalty spot. Burgess is the deepest of them in a pretty central area, and Raggett is forward as well. Harrison at the far post. Can they get the delivery right into that congested 6-yard box? It's come off the top of Raggett's head by the look of it. He was appealing for a corner, the nearest Portsmouth player to it, and it sails into the Milton end, and the England and Portsmouth flags that are behind that goal, and out of play for a goal kick which will be taken by Simon Eastwood. Oxford just need a little settler here with 9 gone at 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant ball in, wasn't it, from Harness, in swinger right on the money on the 6-yard box. So couldn't quite get a clear connection, but here we can see when they're setting up, Eastwood here with a goal kick. Harrison just standing on Rob Dickie saying, right, you're not getting it. If it's going anywhere, it's going to Elliot Moore, and they decide, Oxford, you know what, you ain't going to do that, so we're just going to kick long instead, and that suits Pompey.
Oxford finished with the same record as Portsmouth. They scored 8 goals more. They conceded just the 1 more. Because Portsmouth's home record was sensational over the course of the regular season, as Harrison wins a free kick here. The 18 league games that they played at Fratton Park, they won 12 and drew the other 6. and scored 2.5 times as many goals as they conceded, averaging 2 goals a game here. Hugely impressive record. And they've started very brightly as they look for what will be their first ever victory in a playoff match at the 7th time of asking. McGeehan has got the ball in the midfield, lays it back for Burgess, who will be playing his club football in the Belgian 2nd Division next season. And ball worked out to the left-hand touchline again. And worked through towards McGeehan, who's just dropped off and split the two centre-halves for Portsmouth for a moment. Forward from him to Bryn Morris. Morris inside the centre circle. Now to Burgess. Burgess, who's had a sensational rise in the opinions of the Portsmouth fans over the last 2 or 3 years, having been a target for the Boo Boys at one stage, but deserved winner of the Player of the Season accolades this time around. He will be missed. Here's Curtis. Curtis getting there down by the corner flag. Left-footed ball swung inside the box, just a little bit too high for Harness, who was lurking with intent. The clearance, a back off Brannigan, hit McGeehan, and will come down in the midfield once more, where it'll be played forward intelligently by Brown towards the edge of the area. Andy Cannon trying to twist and turn, get it onto his right foot for the cross. He can't quite, so he's worked it back outside the penalty area for McGeehan, still in a central area. Now it's come down towards Burgess in the centre circle. Oxford pressing and pushing Portsmouth back.
Well, they're not happy. He's looking at the Oxford bench, Carl Robinson. The ball there came off Gavin Ward, and I think he's showing, well, should play have been stopped there?
Well, if the ball hit the referee, I didn't spot, I must admit, but if it's hit the referee, yeah. It's a mandatory drop ball.
It is, and he put his whistle to his mouth. He saw Pompey player have it, and he just waved on as if that was, the advantage gone. But the bench, rightly, Derek Fazackerley and Carl Robinson absolutely fuming.
Yeah, it's...
there he is, remonstrating with a 4th official, and he's right.
It is cut and dry. It doesn't matter. It is a drop ball to the team that kicked the ball onto the referee, and still the point is being made by Carl Robinson to referee Gavin Ward in the middle, now that he's within shouting distance. And when it comes to Carl, most people are within shouting distance.
I was going to say,
just down on South Sea Common, they're agreeing with him.
He kicks every ball, but he's decked in blue today. Is that Pompey, or even his trainers, whose shoes are blue?
Wardrobe malfunction of the best possible kind for Carl Robinson.
I don't think being decked all in yellow would really look great, do you?
No,
Oxford yellow on the side, probably not.
I don't think you'd have been able to carry that off today. I mean, even the team haven't tried. They're in their excellent change kit of white with a yellow and dark blue sash. It's Pompey with the majority of possession. They have the ball in the left-back position. Raggett, who's on loan from Norwich, sends a high ball towards Harrison. He's well beaten in the air by Dickey. Brought down superbly again by Harness, works into the feet of Harrison. Harrison linking up the play again, and it'll break on the right hand side of the air for McCrory. Low ball in from him, and just the odd muted appeal that it might have hit a hand, and then when the whistle does go, it goes Oxford's way as Marcus Brown was able to bring it out from the back, and McCrory caught him from behind to give a free kick to Oxford. It's 0-0 here on TalkSport 2 with 13 minutes gone, but Pompey on top.
Yeah, they are. They've started really well. I mean, if they're not winning the first ball up, they're suddenly picking up the second balls, then they go in and play. Harness, lovely little interlink play into Harrison, feeds it out wide to McCrory. I think he tried to put in the early cross when actually there wasn't really enough numbers in the box. He should have maybe looked to cut that back, but still, really bright start. They got their tactics spot on here so far, Pompey.
Those are the thoughts of David Connolly alongside me, Jim Proudfoot. We've got the second leg of this match live on TalkSport 2 as well on Monday, with kick-off at 5 p.m. and the first leg of the other semi-final coming up straight after this one here on TalkSport 2 as Fleetwood take on Wycombe. Ian Danter and Chris Iwelumo up on the Fylde coast tonight. That match kicks off at 7:30. This one is 0-0 with 13 gone, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Bass, Portsmouth goalkeeper.
Well, they're such a small side, Oxford. That's why they're trying to force Eastwood to kick it long. And because of the wind as well, it's not reaching, it's probably falling 20-30 yards short. It's just about getting over the halfway line. So at the minute, everything's going in Pompey's favour.
There's a swirling breeze, but certainly it's Oxford that are playing into the teeth of it at the moment. They can get it forward there with Brannigan, but so briskly from midfield to be able to guide it into the path of Matty Taylor. And as a consequence, he's hardly had a touch so far. He is an injury concern as well. They're delighted to have got him in the starting lineup today, but he's been carrying a thigh problem over the last 2-3 days or so. There are concerns about whether he's going to get the trip, and they're certainly expecting that he might only last an hour or so tonight. So that will be interesting. But he comes into the game in magnificent form with 6 goals in the 5 games prior to lockdown, and did score in both games against Portsmouth earlier this season, 0-0.
Well, that's a little tweak there from Oxford. I don't know if you saw it, but both centre-halves dropped into the box, whereas previously they started outside the box, and that meant they couldn't play out to feet. That time, I think it was Elliot Moore dropped inside the box, so did Rob Dickie, but still Harrison was close enough to Dickie, so they went out to Elliot Moore. But it's a bit better from Oxford.
Bass plays it forward to Burgess, and then Burgess just working into the feet of Bryn Morris in the midfield. From him to McGeehan, and now to Raggett. Pompey's possession up in the high 50s in the early stages. Worked down the left-hand touchline by the men in royal blue. Turned forward neatly again, and plenty of second ball being won, particularly by this man Curtis in towards Harrison. Just a little nibble on him on the edge of the penalty area to break for Harness. On to his right foot, then onto his left. An effort that was well blocked by Elliot Moore, who stood his ground and was able to get something in the way. Back it comes in from McCrory, a high up and under from the Scotsman, but that one was too heavy and goes out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Simon Eastwood.
Well, it's another really bright attack for Pompey. Every time they go forward, they look dangerous at this moment in time. Maybe the wrong cross selection there from McCrory. He's gone with a real flighted, lofted ball. Obviously, with the wind, it's just going to carry out a play. Might be better, a bit lower trajectory and a bit more pace.
We're talking about Portsmouth's poor record in the playoffs, but McCrory is a player who has got through a playoff campaign successfully in the past. He was a Scottish playoff winner with Ayr United when he was a teenager. He's on loan from Rangers down here on the south coast at the moment. There's not too much positive playoff experience from the home side. He was beaten by Sunderland over 2 legs last season with a 1-0 defeat on Wearside and a 0-0 second leg here. Here is the aforementioned McCrory making his way forward down the right-hand touchline for Pompey. Oxford have got a player down injured at the moment. It's Cam Brannigan. He's just getting back to his feet. McCrory chips it inside the area. Harrison climbs for it, can't bring it down effectively. It's not the best clearance, which comes out towards the left-back Brown. Now McGeehan will be able to bring it forward and will try and take on Woodburn, cleared easily by the impressive Dickie, and now Oxford can turn in the midfield with Brannigan working it towards the left-hand side for Brown. Brown taking on Harness, checks back inside. Space as a consequence for midfielder Ben Woodburn. Woodburn, his first appearance for 9 months, gets the return ball on the edge of the penalty area. Back from him to Brannigan. Brannigan down to Josh Ruffles, veteran of well over 250 games for Oxford now. Back for Moore. Moore into the feet of Gorin. To Moore again. And forward from him to Woodburn. Woodburn clipping it in, looking for the run of Taylor, but Burgess had that run covered and the through ball was too close to Bass anyway. It remains Portsmouth 0, Oxford United 0 here on TalkSport 2.
Well, a little taster there of Oxford, what they're all about, keeping possession, building their way up the park. Just that final ball in, just a little bit of quality, but much better from them.
Ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken over on the far touchline, which is the Portsmouth left, just in front of the north stand, which has the cardboard cutout faces in the crowd. And you may well have seen on social media that Matt Le Tissier is in there somewhere, delighted to be, I'm sure. Maybe that will be the lucky talisman that Portsmouth need. Someone's paid 25 quid for the privilege. The ball is over on the left-hand touchline with Pompey from that throw. They can't find a way through. Now it's gone out of play for an Oxford throw, which will be taken by Sam Long, playing for his hometown club. Just recently signed a new 2-year deal, which will take his stay in and around the first team squad to testimonial territory just about. He's got the ball in his hands here, launches it long over the halfway line. Taylor, not the tallest, was the target man, lost out in the aerial challenge. Harness can bring it down. McGeehan, tall, rounded shoulders, very upright playing style, lays it back here for Burgess. Burgess just into the feet of Morris and very quickly back again. Morris has dropped off and split the two centre halves, and McGeehan can beautifully just turn away from the challenge of Woodburn before Brannigan catches him, and the free kick is given to Portsmouth, which Burgess takes quickly. and chips it beautifully out towards the left-hand side. And Curtis, having picked up possession, then will run with real intent. Cross that was too steep for Harrison. Harness will try and pick it up the far post, but it's cleared easily enough by Ruffles. But Pompey, at the moment, forcing Oxford back in. It's an excellent spell of pressure, but they got no tangible reward for it. Great pass from Burgess. McCrory's cross knocked away by Moore. And out of play for, I think, a throw down by the corner flag. It was probably just about over the corner flag. The assistant referee on this near touchline was well placed. I think he's given the throw. Yes, he has, rather than a corner, which the blonde-haired fullback McCrory will take. He's got Harness on the near side of the penalty area. Cannon, former Rochdale man, just dropping into a little bit of space in the box. Goes into the feet of Harness, back to McCrory, to Harness again, now to Morris. Morris rolling the studs of his right boot over the top of the ball. Then McCrory nutmegs Brown, but can't chase the ball in time, and Ruffles will be able to clear it off Harness. And out of play for a throw on the Oxford left. It's Portsmouth 0, Oxford United 0. David Connolly.
Well, it's another really good move, wasn't it, from Portsmouth. Burgess with a brilliant ball in behind the fullback to McCrory. This time I think he did try to cut the ball back, which is the right idea, but didn't quite wrap his foot around it.
Ball brought down effectively in the midfield again by Curtis. Brannigan's done well. He can hook it away. McGeehan to his right-hand side for Morris. Morris back for McCrory. We'll talk about how difficult it must be for the players having not played competitively for, as near as makes no difference, 4 months. But for Morris, who's got another 10 months out through injury on top of that, it must be difficult to try and pace yourself today. The ball is cleared as the first substitutes are sent out to warm up away to our left-hand side. It is a throw on the Portsmouth left. It's worked back inside the penalty area very quickly, looking for Harrison. Cleared again, and out for a throw that will be taken over on the Portsmouth left. Still 0-0.
Well, that was a really good kick out there from Alex Bass. Distribution, he recognised that James Henry from the right-hand side had closed him down. So where did he kick it? Right out to the right-hand side for his left-back Lee Brown, and obviously Ronan Curtis out there just having a free run. Great recognition of where the space was from Alex Bass.
Morris will play the ball forward down the left-hand touchline, ran out of room, and it's a throw which will be taken on the Oxford right. There is a packed weekend of live sport coming up across the TalkSport network for you over on TalkSport tomorrow. We've got 4 back-to-back Premier League matches on game day, whilst here on TalkSport 2 we've got Derby against Nottingham Forest, Leicester Palace, plus horse racing with the Oaks and the Derby from Epsom. Then we round off the day with some golf from the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit. That's all coming your way tomorrow on TalkSport and here on TalkSport 2, where it's 0-0 in the first of the day's League One playoff semi-finals. Fleetwood Wicken to come. This one goalless midway through the first half between Portsmouth and Oxford. And it's Dickey in possession, the Oxford skipper, the centre half. Out towards Long. Long controls it with his first touch, sends it back to Dickey with his second. Bit of cloud cover overhead now on the south coast, and the shadows have disappeared for now. All the pitch in shadow as Brown will make his way forward towards the edge of the box. A cushion layoff from him out to the left-hand touchline for Ruffles, trying to make something happen. McGeehan is able to clear after the initial block challenge from Harness. Portsmouth get it to halfway, but back it will come again from Oxford. And the Oxford bench of Carl Robinson and Derek Fazackerley, with Wayne Brown, the goalkeeping coach, more encouraged by what they've seen over the last 2-3 minutes or so.
Well, certainly you're right, Jim. I mean, they're keeping it and passing it and popping it. Oxford, Woodburn in that number 10 role. I mean, at times he's done quite well. Looks a little bit rusty. That first touch has got away from him a couple of times, but their movement off the flanks is really good. I mean, the two fullbacks, Ruffles and Sam Long, keep their width, but the wingers come inside and they just try and overload you in the middle of the park, and they're doing it really well at this moment in time.
Taylor to Brannigan. This is better from Oxford again, working with more intent towards the edge of the area, and Henry just tried to play the little reverse ball in between centre half and full back for the run down the outside of Long. Couldn't find him, and it's gone out of play for a goal kick, which Alex Bass will take. And with 23 minutes on the clock, we're having what officially is billed as a cooling break. I really need to describe it as such today. It's cool enough for the first week of July. Portsmouth, though, will be the happier, Dave, as the the Oxford players just to come round Carl Robinson now, just get a few instructions, a little bit of advice and some fine-tuning how things can be improved up to this point. Portsmouth have been on top, but Oxford hanging in there at 0-0.
Yeah, that's right. I think actually last few minutes, they just gathered a little bit of momentum there, Oxford, didn't they? So it's probably come at maybe the wrong moment for Carl Robinson. I think certainly for Pompey, they started playing really, really well. You can see the way that they want to do it. Obviously they're going long, they're trying to pick up the first ball. If they don't, they invariably pick up the second. Oxford have got to play their football. They are a small technical team. They've been restricted, for large parts of that first 20 odd minutes by Portsmouth, and when they have got it down in the last couple, they've looked really, really good. The wingers come inside, get in the little pockets. What they don't have is sort of pace to really hurt you in behind. They've got cleverness, and Kenny will know all about James Henry. He had him at Millwall. He'll know, look, he puts in a great delivery, he's cute, he's clever, he's not going to run us in behind. We've got to get tight to him, and at the minute, when they come in the little pockets, they're having a little bit of joy, Oxford. So I guess last few minutes have been a little bit brighter for them.
Yeah, James Henry played in a League One playoff semi-final with Millwall under Kenny Jackett back in 2009. He actually played for Kenny at Wolves as well, so he's got a few more miles on the clock these days and the odd trick, but Kenny will know exactly what to expect from James Henry, whose tally of 12 goals and 9 assists this season is right up there with anything in the Football League.
Yeah, he will hurt you if if he's given time, he will, and Kenny knows that.
Play resumes with Alex Bass's blows thrown from either. It was difficult to see, and just watching a replay of it, I'm sure that it was nothing more than shoulder to shoulder, and I don't think there'll be need for any serious disciplinary action, but there was just a push, I think, from McGinn. Certainly no punches thrown. It was just a little bit of angry reaction and retaliation. Nothing more than that, and I think Brannigan was booked as a result of that. McGeehan possibly as well. I'll just confirm that for you in a moment. But Gavin Ward has written name or names on his card. It's hard to see with so many players in close quarters. I'm sorry exactly who he did book, whether he booked the pair of them or not. The play will resume with the free kick for the initial challenge, and it was a yellow card apiece. Harrison's okay, incidentally, after a little bit of treatment. Portsmouth work it forward from that free kick. It's headed on in towards the edge of the box. Oxford get it away. Brought down then by Harness. Harness with excellent strength, did well to hold off the challenge behind him of Brannigan. It goes out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Oxford left-hand side. It is Portsmouth 0, Oxford 0.
Well, I did see this. I don't know what you think, Jim, in some games. For example, I was at Griffin Park when West Brom were there. They were losing and they had a little drinks break. They were, had a bit of momentum and they just lost it in that drinks break, and this can sometimes happen. Pompey just need to get going again, get the ball down, get playing their game. Lost a little bit, knocked them off their stride somewhat.
Raggett getting the ball back to his goalkeeper. Bass with another hefty clearance. Such strength, those thighs, to be able to get the ball forward a prodigiously long. Very intelligent run from Harrison, and we'll get there at a tight angle, whip it inside the 6-yard box where the bounce was awkward for Long. Just kept him honest with Curtis lurking, and Long was forced to cushion a header behind for another Portsmouth corner.
Yeah, another brilliant ball into the channel, and Harrison got on into that one. I mean, there was no one in the box. That's what I would say for Pompey. They had one man, maybe Curtis, that was it. So question, can they commit a few more players forward now?
Burgess waits. Good movement in towards the near post from Curtis, and the big shout was for a penalty for Burgess, who was claiming that he was being wrestled to the ground as he attacked that far post area, and that one of the Oxford defenders had his arms all around him. He might well have had a case there.
I think it might have been Rob Dickey, man-to-man on Burgess.
Nothing given, but all eyes are on the assistant referee on this near touchline, Nigel Lugg, who was not for giving the penalty. It is 0-0, and play will resume with a goal kick to Oxford United. Simon Eastwood, who gets it forward. Long right-footed ball. Burgess doing a little bit of holding of his own that time, and then much taller than striker Matty Taylor, he can lean over him and get it away. As Portsmouth work it forward, it's hit too strongly. It'll be picked up by Eastwood, who will bowl it out for Rob Dickey. Oxford have played in the playoffs before, not the league playoffs, but they featured back in the conference playoff final in 2010, 10 years ago. They beat York City to get promoted back into the league. They'd lost in the semi-finals to Exeter a couple of years before that. But they do know as a club what it takes to get promoted through the playoff system, which Portsmouth don't. Their record, remember, 3 playoff semi-final defeats. Here's Harness, Harrison. Lail from him is excellent. Morris driving it forward. Cannon can play it out to Curtis. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Curtis! 1-0 Portsmouth. Wonderful passing move. And Curtis on the left-hand side of the penalty area from a tight angle fires it in between Simon Eastwood and the post. It's Portsmouth 1, Oxford 0. Is this the day they finally break their playoff duck?
Well, you've got to say it's nothing less than they deserve. I think Portsmouth have been absolutely brilliant. What a move. Fantastic football. Starts with a goalkeeper. They roll it out down this right-hand side. Eventually lands at the feet of Cannon. Just playing off the front. Terrific little turn. I think he gets it back from Ellis Harrison, then feeds it out wide to Ronan Curtis. Takes his man on, then drills it low at the near post. I think maybe Simon East will be really disappointed with this one. It's just squirmed under his body, and I guess for a goalkeeper of his quality, I think he'll be slightly disappointed with that.
Well, Ronan Curtis's 50th senior goal at a rate of about 1 every 4 games throughout his career. His first since January and his 14th of the season. At the moment, the most important of Portsmouth's campaign. They lead Oxford by a 1-0 here on TalkSport 2. But they will be, of course, mindful of the fact that in both of the previous games that these two sides have played, Oxford have trailed and have found an equaliser in stoppage time on both occasions. Marcus Brown ends up on the deck. Claims from him and some of the Oxford players that it was Harness that put him there and kicked out at him. Play goes on. Oxford in possession. Brown's back on his feet. Brannigan's got it on halfway. Almost sold it short to Gorin, but he was able to react well, the Spaniard in the midfield. Ruffles can play it forward. Ruffles towards the edge of the penalty area. Brannigan to Brown. Brown lets fly from distance. Bass deliberately dived inside it, knowing it was going wide of his left-hand post for a goal kick. 1-0 Portsmouth. Bass just waiting to get the ball back off the hoardings. Retrieves it now and will spot it down. Have won only 3 of the last 14 league meetings of these two sides, Pompey, but that does include 2 of the last 3 here. We'll go back to 2016 for the last time that Oxford won at Fratton Park with a goal from Jordan Bowery. And in that run, Carl Robinson's first game as Oxford manager, which culminated in a 3-0 defeat here at Fratton Park a couple of years ago. But it's been an excellent rise for Oxford since then. Finished 16th that year, 12th last year, 4th in the points adjusted table this time around, and if they can turn this around and win tonight, it'll be his 50th victory as Oxford United manager. They've got work to do. Pompey, good value for the 1-0 lead given to them by Ronan Curtis on 32 minutes. Here's Moore. Moore forward into the feet of Brannigan. Brannigan to Brown. Harness following him infield. Now played by Ben Woodburn out to the right-hand touchline for Long. Long to Henry. Everybody stops for a moment, including the ball, which was stationary as Henry looked up and surveyed his options. None of the Pompey players diving in on him. Eventually they can't work the ball inside the area. It was Taylor attacking it. And then at the far post, Ruffles is in there and wins a corner. And Pompey have a player down injured. Just on the edge of the 6-yard box, it's McCrory that just picked up a bang to the head. He's going to be okay, but it will be an Oxford corner as they try and get themselves back on level terms.
Yeah, and it comes from that man, James Henry, getting his first real delivery into the box. A good one to the back post. They keep it alive. They've got a corner out of it.
Which Henry will come across to take. Portsmouth leading by a 1-0. This Oxford's first real concrete opportunity of getting themselves back on level terms. Punched away well by Bass as the in-swinging corner was close to the goalkeeper. Oxford recycle it well with Henry's delivery inside the the box for the second time of asking, cleared by Cannon and then McGeehan, and out for a throw which will be taken on the Oxford left.
Well, you can just see the value of Harrison here so far, can't you? I mean, his hold-up play's been absolutely outstanding. His touch with his back to goal, his power running in behind, his intelligence just to drop off into the pocket. He's brilliant in both boxes. There he is, heading one off his goalkeeper's hands to clear the danger. He's been superb so far, and he's obviously standing on Rob Dickie, just preventing Oxford playing out. Great intelligence from him.
Elliot Moore's ball forward. Burgess heads it down for Harness, and it's cleared into Harness by Ruffles, and now to play for a throw which will be taken on the Oxford left-hand side. Strange being at Fratton Park without John Westwood's bell being rung from the Fratton end ad infinitum. Here is Brown trying to find a way through, and will be cleared by Morris in the right back position. By Portsmouth, all brilliantly done on the left-hand side by Brannigan, flashed across the face of the 6-yard box by Brown, looking for Taylor, who made a darting near-post run, but the ball evaded him, and it goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Portsmouth left by Lee Brown. The skipper, who's only made a couple of starts since early December, Steve Seddon, has been the left-back of choice for much of 2020, but it is Brown who's back in the side today and launches this long throw forward. The loose ball squirmed into midfield where it was knocked away by Morris. And it just comes behind Andy Cannon, and Oxford will be able to work it forward with Henry. Henry's long ball forward, it's just nodded down by Taylor on the edge of the penalty area. Poor clearance from McGeehan, straight to Henry. Henry forced wide, it's a great shape on the ball in which Raggett could deal with, and then it's cleared by Harrison, who certainly puts a real shift in coming back to add numbers inside that penalty area when Portsmouth are having to defend. He's covered a huge amount of ground so far.
He has, but again, it comes in, that ball comes in from Henry out on that right-hand side. That's where Brown's got to get a little bit closer. He does have the quality to hurt. You've already seen he's got the little dink one, he's got the drill ball to the back post, he's got them all in his locker, James Henry.
There's Dickie, who just hits it with the side foot forward some 50-60 yards. McCrory can't let that one run out of play for a goal kick. Might not have had the legs to get there, so he was forced to play it, and it goes back to the goalkeeper via Burgess. Headed down then by Ruffles. McGeehan in strongly in the midfield for Portsmouth, but Oxford maintain possession and then win a free kick as Marcus Brown is fouled, and Brannigan, as his momentum took him over the line, ended up doing a little bit of non-socially distanced dancing with one of the Portsmouth subs. Did well for him there, actually, to make sure that Brannigan didn't end up flying headfirst into the seats on this near touchline. Brannigan will take this free kick. 1-0 Portsmouth lead. The free kick's midway between the edge of the penalty area and the halfway line, and it's swung in a right-footed in-swinger from Brannigan. Ruffles claiming that he was being held back by Raggett. The ball beat everybody and goes out of play for a goal kick. 1-0 to Portsmouth on TalkSport 2.
Just put a little bit too much on it, didn't he, Brannigan there? Overcooked it. That's been a good game so far, isn't it? Really good. You've seen a couple of instances, I guess, examples of Oxford. You know, they've got that intricate technical ability, nice little 1-2 out wide, give and go. Brannigan, obviously, terrific ball into the box from Marcus Brown. But they've largely been restricted to little bits of passage of play in the middle of the park, and I think Pompey would be really pleased with that.
Another prodigiously long kick from Bass, helped on by Harrison. Curtis couldn't get there, and he'll roll through for Simon Eastwood. Eastwood bowls it out to the edge of the penalty area for Dickie. Dickie can play it forward over the halfway line. Henry comes into a more central area and can turn it neatly down to the Oxford left for Brown. Back for Henry again. Long making more regular runs forward now from right back. Henry, though, has gone the other way towards Ruffles. It's just controlled on the top of the solar plexus, and a shade of arm in there as well, according to the referee. No complaints from the Oxford left back. Free kick given against him, and a free kick which will be taken by Portsmouth in the right back position, but it will be Bass that will come out to take it, and not running the clock down, but he's in no hurry. It's just a languid approach to the ball with 4 minutes to go to half time here, and probably a couple of minutes to be added on at the end of the first period. Still Portsmouth leading Oxford by a goal to nil, scored by Ronan Curtis, his 14th goal of the season. He's the target of this latest long ball fall from Bass. Long did well, went shoulder to shoulder with him, and then made sure that he stayed goal side of Andy Cannon to shepherd the ball out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Eastwood. And Oxford needing to get themselves back into the game here.
Well, a couple of times. It's only happened twice now that actually Rob Dickey's been able to get on the ball. When he has, you can see the movement. That's the trigger. James Henry comes in off the line, receives it in the little pocket, and then they look really, really dangerous. I mean, they've done well, Pompey, actually, to just try and prevent him getting the ball, but when he has had it, he's like a Rolls Royce, isn't he?
Pompey's home record much better than their away record over the course of the season. Portsmouth picking up 42 points in their 18 home games, but they only had the 11th best away record in the division. Oxford actually the other way round. Their away record was in the top 4, their home record only 7th. Oxford on the front foot here with Long. Bass can come out. He's a tall goalkeeper, good 6'4", 6'5" Alex Bass, and he came out, clutched the ball into his midriff and released it quickly for Morris. Morris to McCrory. McCrory does well, just flicks the ball between Brown and Brannigan to feed Morris again. Clipped in by the Portsmouth midfielder and cleared. The former Middlesbrough man goes up for it in the midfield again. McCrory, though, tripped over the ball, having won it. Brannigan can feed Brown. And now with McCrory out of position, he's got the opportunity. Brown here to run at Burgess, who stumbles, and he gets the shot in, and he squeezes it inside Alex Bass's near post. Marcus Brown equalising for Oxford United just before half-time. McCrory caught out of position. Brown got the ball, drove hard, and it's a brilliantly taken goal. Question marks potentially about the keeper, but it's 1-1.
Yeah, it's 1-1. I think Pompey will be really disappointed. I think you're right here. Alex Bass, does he have a little slip? He doesn't quite get down quickly enough. I know Christian Burgess does as well. A really poor goal as far as Pompey are concerned. McCrory loses possession. Marcus Brown is running 1v1 against Burgess. He takes him on. Burgess slips. He just allows him to come inside. Then he just gets a shot off. He's about 20 yards out. It's not the cleanest of strikes, and disappointing finish going in at the near post. I think both keepers with both goals here, I think they feel they could do better.
Well, he is a tall man, as we've been saying. And by goalkeeping standards, Alex Bass has got a long way to go down at that near post, and it was
he had time though, didn't he? Because it wasn't the most powerful strike, was it?
Well, it was brilliantly precise, but as you say, it wasn't a thunderbolt hit along the ground from 21, 22 yards out, and he will certainly feel by the high standards that he set himself over the course of the second half of this season that he should have saved that. As it is, it's Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1, and for the third time in a meeting between these two this season, Portsmouth have taken the lead and Oxford have found an equaliser. 1-1 approaching half-time in the first of these two legs of the League One playoff semi-finals.
I just wonder as well what sort of boots Burgess is wearing. I've just seen Lee Brown slip as well, and Burgess slipped at the exact wrong moment to slip. Just invited then Brown to cut in on the inside as he was on the floor.
Back he goes from Harrison in the midfield, and he just went into a vacant part of that midfield that Matty Taylor did well to link up and get there first, and now Brown again with confidence will run at that Portsmouth back line. This time he's laid it off. Taylor with a shot, hits Burgess, and Harness will clear as it ricochets away outside the box. Elliot Moore for Ruffles. Ruffles did well with the Harness coming towards him, just to telescope out the left leg and win it in the air, but it ends up going out of play for a throw that will be taken by McCrory. Body language is noticeably better for Oxford. Often the way that when there is a quick exchange of goals, there's 11 minutes between the two here. The side that find the equalising goal have a big psychological advantage as a result of that. We go to 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Burgess heads it forward. Dickey can bring it down from the back. Excellent distribution from him again, who chested it down and then works it forward out to the Oxford right. An opportunity for Long. Henry, just a little layoff from him, looking for Long again, but Curtis has got back and was able to lay it back to his left back Brown, and the Portsmouth skipper clears out towards Harrison. At times cutting an isolated figure. There's nothing he could do with that against Dickey, who just stepped forward, took it down on his chest, and then on the turn, and then laid an inch perfect ball off to the left-hand side. He is going to do well at a higher level than League One, there's no doubt about that.
Well, he's the next one certainly off the conveyor belt. It reminds me a bit like Matt Clark, who was here for Pompey, left-sided centre-back, would take those balls, long balls out the sky, take him on his chest, go to look and play. Rob Dickey's exactly that for Oxford.
Well, Oxford will end the half here with a free kick. And it's, 16, 17 yards outside the penalty area, left of centre. And it's an opportunity for Moore to make his way forward. And Dickey comes forward again. Pompey will keep a high line on the edge of the box. And they've got Burgess keeping an eye on Dickey. Harrison is in there in the middle, watching Josh Ruffles, who's been the target of one of these set pieces so far. And Marcus Brown has just got the equaliser for Oxford. And what can he set up here for one of his teammates as he just prepares to drive it in, hang it inside that Portsmouth penalty area. Curved in, Burgess got up the highest, heads it away and out for a corner, which is Oxford's fourth, coming in the second minute of stoppage time.
Yeah, it's a good ball in though, much better than Brannigan's previously, just into an area along the 6-yard box, and Burgess did well to head it away. Just wondered how they got something clever. They obviously worked on this, how to maybe isolate one of these Pompey players, something clever off the training ground.
So Burgess stands by the penalty spot and he's got his eye and a hand on Dickey, who will try and make a near post run. Long is making a near post run as well. Harrison comes to attack it. It came off the top of his head, comes down to this near touchline for Pompey, and Harness will bring it forward. Harness now down towards the right hand side for Cannon. Back to Harness again, who had to try and take it on the turn, and Rob Dickey had got back and recovered brilliantly. Got himself back in a position to be able to affect things, and then McGeehan ends up on the deck, and Taylor will be spoken to by the referee. Nothing more than a little lecture from Gavin Ward, who of course booked McGeehan and Brannigan after their contretemps about 20 minutes or so ago, and the score was still 0-0. Free kick to Portsmouth right at the end of the half. Christian Burgess standing over it in his orange and black boots, preparing to drive this forward towards the edge of the penalty area in front of the Milton end of the ground here at Fratton Park. It's a high one hung up towards the far post. Curtis, the goal scorer, will get there. It bounces awkwardly for him. Back into the fray from Cannon. Shot on the turn is half cleared. It was Raggett's effort. Then it comes in from Morris. That one's blocked as well. The next shot is also blocked as Oxford look to try and bring it forward on the counter-attack. The half-time whistle goes. Carl Robinson far from happy with that, and he strides onto the pitch now, saying, I think, that Oxford had an opportunity there on the counter-attack, but the whistle went. Rob Dickey, the captain, is also in the ear of Gavin Ward, but the bottom line is that an entertaining first half finishes Portsmouth 1, Oxford United 1.
Jim, thank you very much. Parity at half-time at Fratton. The Oxford leveller, Marcus Brown, rather dragging that drive into the bottom corner. Ronan Curtis had given Pompey, you'd have to say, a deserved lead. And that goal from Brown, Dave Connolly, nearing half-time, it's a blow for the host, for the Blues, isn't it? Who you've got to say, slightly the better in the first half?
Yes, I think it's been a really good game, I've got to say, and I think they have shaded it, Pompey. I mean, they'll be dreadfully disappointed with the goal. I mean, McCrory loses possession, he's out of his slot, but then you think, come on in, Burgess, just keep him going down the line. Keep Brown. One thing you can't allow him to do, Marcus Brown, is cut inside onto his right peg. It's a bit like Yarmolenko the other day against Chelsea. You've got to keep him going down the line. Don't let him come in on his favoured side. He does that, Burgess, and he slips, and then, to be honest, it's a bit of a daisy cutter. Wasn't really much pace and power on it. It goes low into the corner, but I think Alex Bass, I think he'll know he should be doing better.
Ronan Curtis for Pompey, the player often the Blues turn to, giving them the lead, firing in from a narrow angle. Again, we're talking goalkeepers, though. Flew through the former Pompey man, Oxford keeper Simon Eastwood. Hit it very well, given a yard. Curtis made Oxford suffer, but again, both goals, both keepers will be thinking, can I do better?
Absolutely. Look, it's gone for his legs, almost like hit the underside of his bum, maybe, but still, as soon as that goes under, you think...
Save it with that then, Dave.
Well, maybe. With my
Use
bum,
anything.
Yeah. I don't know about Simon's, but look, he'll know that he shouldn't be getting beat there, and for them it was a cheap goal. However, you would say it was coming for Portsmouth, because I thought some of their football, which people have criticised them for, Dan, and you'll know because you've been here a lot, and obviously you're a Pompey man, you'll know that their football's been criticised this season. But so far it's been superb. I got to say, this number 10, which they played with a lot at times, haven't really seen it's worked. I think Andy Cannon's been absolutely terrific. The hold-up play from Ellis Harrison, he's come short, he's shown intelligence, he's linked it well, he's been brilliant in both boxes, run in behind. it was almost a complete first-half performance until that goal they conceded.
It's been a really good battle. Rob Dickie, Ellis Harrison,
Yes.
one that you and Jim have picked out. Of course, Ronan Curtis striking the post, but very promptly and quickly. I agree with you, Pompey. There's still a direct feel to Pompey, but there is plenty of purpose and energy to Pompey. And that battle between Dickie and Harrison is one that you cannot take your eyes off.
No, because look, it's something they've worked. Obviously, you could see that immediately. You know, to the trained eye, right? Okay, Harrison is going to stand on Rob Dickie because out of any of the centre halves, out of any of the back players, they don't want it to go to him. So you are not getting it. If it's going to go out there a little more, fine. Now, the two or three times that actually Rob Dickie has come out of it, you see him. He's like a Rolls Royce. He'll travel into the middle of the box. He'll pluck balls out of the sky. You know, he is really good in possession. But I've got to say, Harrison has dominated him when he's had the ball. He's won everything in the air. His hold-up play's been too strong, been too quick, been too clever, shifted the ball, moved it. I mean, he's done really well because I know it might have been him or Marquis and he's got the nod, but he's been superb so far. And it's a good battle. It's certainly a good battle, him and Dickie.
Well, Carl Robinson will look at 1-1 at half-time at Fratton. He'll say, I'll take that now to take back to the Kassam in a few nights' time for the second leg of this League One playoff semi-final. But he'll also be thinking with his assistant Derek Vazakli as well, that we can improve, we can be better. There's a stiff breeze that is flying around the South Coast, making it difficult for both sets of players. But Carl Robinson will be thinking we can get it a little more effectively into Matty Taylor. We can go a little higher up the pitch. We can be better in forward areas. We can play better than we did first half.
Yeah, what they need to do is play off their structure. You know, because when they play off second balls and they play without a structure, then they look poor, Oxford. Then they're struggling. You know, when they have to kick long, they invariably lose it. When they play off a structure, right, the two centre-halves drop in the box. Keeper gives it them. The wingers come inside as Henry does on one side. You know, Brown comes in off the other. Suddenly they link with the front man, you know, Matty Taylor and Ben Woodburn. Suddenly then the fullbacks are out. Wow, they look really good from a structure. When it's unstructured and a bit chaotic, you know, and it's not their routines, then they don't look quite as good, Oxford. So it's just a case of Pompey preventing that.
Dave, thank you very much. Back with Jim Proudford and Dave Connolly, the former Pompey and Oxford man, shortly for second half coverage at Fratton Park. We'll also in a set be talking with Ian Danter and Chris Owellamo ahead of the second of our first legs this evening at Highbury Stadium. Fleetwood taking on Wycombe Wanderers. Back in a moment. Half time down on the South Coast. Portsmouth 1, Oxford United 1.
EFL Live on TalkSport 2. The EFL Show on TalkSport 2 with 888 Sport. Call 8 results from 8 games and win £8,000 in our free weekly football predictor. Up for 8. Fall short and we'll still give you a £1 free bet for each correct pick. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Philip Schofield here. At WeBuyAnyCar.com, you could find out how much your car's worth in under 60 seconds, which is plenty of time to run the 400 metres. If you're a professional athlete. Come on, Phil, you can do it. To find out how much your car's worth in 60 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com. I think I need to lie down.
Admin fee may apply. For more information, see WeBuyAnyCar.com/info.
Tuesdays at KFC gonna get you like, wow, pow, chow, kapow, get down right now. If you know how, then take a bow. Because this deal's gonna raise a brow. Get 9 pieces of original recipe chicken for an eye-popping $5.99. What the... Every Tuesday at KFC. Participating restaurants ends 18th of August 2020. Tuesdays only, subject to availability, not available online.
Formula One is back.
F1 is back on Sky Sports.
It's lights out and away we go.
And there's never been a season like this before.
How was that fast?
No one knows where this road leads, but it's going to be a hell of a ride.
Down the inside, oh, he comes down into each other.
Are you ready?
Brilliant madness. An absolutely perfect race.
Watch every race live. Upgrade to Sky Sports F1 today. Go to sky.com/F1 for details.
At Wix, we know tradespeople have been keeping the homes of the UK safe and sound. So we know you need to get back out on the job quickly. Get instant access to your 10% discount with the Wix Trade Pro app and shop with us in store, click and collect, or have your order delivered. Not a member? Download the app to register. Always cheaper with Wix Trade Pro. Terms apply.
Impress your friends and seriously irritate your competitors with a hard-working, cost-effective custom ad campaign on TalkSport. Find out what we can do for you at advertiseontalksport.com.
Like Lotto? Then you'll love a bet on the Millionaire Super Draw at Lottoland. There's a Super Draw jackpot with a huge £150 million up for grabs this Friday. So sit back, relax and place your bet for just £2 at lottoland.co.uk and get 20 free horseshoe scratch cards with your first bet. 18s and over. Offer for new customers only and may only be used once. Offer ends December 31st, 2020. Terms apply. BigGambleAware.org.
The Premier League is bigger and better than ever. Don't miss any of this season's action on TalkSport 2 with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass. Saturday is game day, featuring TalkSport's most full-on, football-dedicated schedule ever. From all the build-up to live commentary and post-match reaction, it's your non-stop one-shop Premier League destination. Game day kick-off on TalkSport 2 with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass. Only pay for the games that matter to you from just $9.99. Search Now TV. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
EFL Live on TalkSport 2.
Don't forget, as part of game day tomorrow on TalkSport 4, back-to-back commentary starting from 12:30, Norwich against Brighton. Here on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL, we bring you a massive East Midlands derby between Derby and Nottingham Forest in the Sky Bet Championship from 12:30. Our 3 o'clock commentaries in the Premier League, Leicester against Crystal Palace. The second of our first legs in League One playoff semi-final action up at Highbury Stadium from 7:13. Down to Chris Sawellamo, our commentary team and the boys join me now. Very good afternoon, I should say evening. Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, mate. We've nailed everything down.
How is it? Is it a bit blustery?
It's a tad, isn't it, Chris? Just a tad.
On the filed coast.
This is the first time, I can tell you, I can exclusively reveal on TalkSport 2, this is the first time Chris Sawellamo sat in a director's box.
Wow.
Because he's...
I'm sat just behind you.
Yeah.
A couple of metres behind you.
The social distancing here at Highbury means I sit in the... what you might say is the traditional press seat.
Little plastic seat. I've got a nice little padded one here.
And Sawellamo sits with the VIPs. It makes sense. It makes sense.
I'm used to this, Dan. I'm used to this.
He's probably got the lobster thermidor at half time as well.
Chris, look, Fleetwood were playing with a real flourish pre-lockdown, and what we've been getting out of Joey Barton and the Fleetwood camp in the build-up to tonight, they feel they are absolutely in the right place to maintain that momentum heading into these 2 games against Wickham.
Yeah, well, we spoke about it time and time again. Momentum after, 3.5, 4 months off, it's something else. I think we're unbeaten in 12, 6 wins, 6 draws. It's fantastic form, isn't it? But I'm just speaking to Clint Hill coming in there, and they've not played any games. He said that Joey Barton wanted to do it a little bit differently. I think they've had a training ground match against Wigan under 16s, under 17s. That's bizarre for me. You think, okay, 3.5 weeks back, you want to get the boys run out. You can train all day long, but nothing really prepares you. And I understand that it's closed door match training games at the training ground. It's not quite the same, but still, you would think you would want the boys to come here, play a game a little bit more kind of high profile than that, just to make sure it's a test for them. But again, if things are ticking along nicely, he knows that the boys are at a good level, then he knows his team better than anyone, and he's decided to go that way. So it's going to be interesting tonight how they start. I think they play with a lot of high energy. I think they've got physicality in the team, they've got pace, and they've got goals. I think Ched Evans, Paddy Madden. I had the pleasure of playing with Paddy at Scunthorpe. Well, I went out the door when he came in, to be fair, but he's a fantastic talent. So they've got goals, and like I said, they've got goals coming from all over the place as well, which is good.
Dan, some will say that Wycombe Wanderers are fortunate to be here. The serial overachievers, Gareth Ainsworth and his Wanderers side, will be more than ready to play their part in these playoffs.
Oh yeah, and Gareth, they were so well placed. They were top for a time early in the season. It was just
up till about Christmas, wasn't it? Yeah.
After Christmas, it was a wretched run. But yes, the points per game has rescued them. Plus Gillingham's late equaliser against Sunderland down at Priestfield. I think that was another critical goal for how the table ended up panning out on the points per game system. And their away form is nowhere near as good as their home form. I would suggest that the job for Gareth Ainsworth and the chair boys tonight is to keep the tie competitive, to take it back to Adams Park on Monday, because their home form is immeasurably better. On the road, they've been a bit suspect. Although they got a 1-1 here in the league early in the season. But I think the way that Wycombe play as well is quite up and at them. I can tell you, Akinfen was not starting. I've just seen the Wycombe team drop. If you don't mind, I'll work my way through it for you, Dan. Allsop is in goal. Jacobson, Stewart, Charles, and I think it's Grimmer replacing McCarthy, who's gone back to Millwall. Then you've got Gape, Wheeler, Bloomfield, Ofobor and Onya Dinma in midfield, and Samuel on his own up front. So that's the Wycombe team news.
Surprised that Chris, no Bayo, no Akinfenwa, because often they go up to him, energy off him. Samuel over Bayo Akinfenwa. Your thoughts on that?
No, it's surprising. I think Fleetwood will have more of the ball tonight. I think Wycombe have got to make sure that they've got an outlet. I think Samuel does the job. Obviously, he's not the beast, but again, it's I think maybe mobility-wise, I think that could be a question. They need a little bit more defensively as well. And Bayo, he kind of holds, he keeps that distance, he stretches the pitch a little bit just for the fact that he's that his physical presence and his outlet. That's massive for the way Wycombe go about and play business. So I just think it's like say Gareth, he knows his team, he knows his players, he's seen them, he'll know what levels they're at, and like Dan says, I think it's very much just making sure that they're in this tie for the home leg.
Just checking the Fleetwood Town team as well, Dan, if you don't mind. That's just coming as well. Paddy Madden's on the bench. Wes Burns is back from their last league game, which was a 2-2 draw at Pompey. So it's Morris, Everton, Burns in the three up front. Madden, the top scorer, is amongst the substitutes, and it looks like there's a change at the back as well. It looks like Lewis Gibson's coming in for Andrew at left back. Indeed, Andrew does drop to the bench, but it looks to me like 3 changes for Fleetwood from their last league outing, and a similar amount for Wycombe from their loss at Doncaster before lockdown.
I can hear the breeze, boys. I hope you are wrapped up warm. Back with Dance and Chris on the fire.
It's just blowy. Don't let Iwelumo tell you.
Fade him down. Back with Dancer and Iwelumo very shortly for the second of our first legs later on. Fleetwood against Wycombe. Headline team news there with Dance dropping perfectly. Love it when a plan comes together. In the first of our first legs, League One action. It's been a good first half. All level at Fratton.
He's got more work to do here as a shot comes in, hits the post. On the follow-up, they can't make the most of the opportunity, and Eastwood is there to gather. But what a start that would have been for Portsmouth.
Terrific strike there, Ronan Curtis off that left-hand side.
Left-hand side of the penalty end, Curtis! 1-0 Portsmouth. Wonderful passing move. And Curtis on the left-hand side of the penalty area from a tight angle fires it in between Simon Eastwood and the post. It's Portsmouth 1, Oxford 0. Is this the day they finally break their playoff duck?
Well, you got to say it's nothing less than they deserve. I think Portsmouth have been absolutely brilliant. What a move.
McCrory though tripped over the ball, having won it. Brannigan can feed Brown, and now with McCrory out of position, he's got the opportunity. Brown here to run at Burgess, who stumbles and he gets the shot in, and he squeezes it inside. Alex Bassett near post. Marcus Brown equalising for Oxford United just before half-time. McCrory caught out of position. Brown got the ball, drove hard, and it's a brilliantly taken goal. Question marks potentially about the keeper, but it's 1-1.
Full of goal-mouth drama. The first half at Fratton. What will the second half look like? Marcus Brown, of course, with the leveller after Ronan Curtis opener. Both sides back out at Fratton Park. So let's bring you second half commentary on your home of the EFL, Talk Sport 2. The former Pompey and Oxford man, David Connolly, our summariser, alongside match commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Well, Portsmouth are out for the second half already. They've come out from the tunnel, which is on this near side. Oxford are changing in one of the hospitality suites. And they are just coming on to the pitch now from the top left-hand corner as we look at it, the corner between the Fratton end and the north stand. And they're walking back onto the field with purpose. 1-1 the scoreline after Curtis's goal on 32 minutes. It's equalised by Marcus Brown on 43. McGeehan and Brannigan in the book in that first 45. It's not been too feisty an affair, but just occasionally there's been a flashpoint that's given Gavin Ward, the referee, something to think about. Well, Oxford have not really been able to create too many concrete goal-scoring opportunities, but they have the goal on the board, and it'll be interesting to see how the personnel get shuffled over the course of the next 45 minutes, Dave.
Well, just looking at the coaching staff of Oxford, they're obviously using the hospitality because every one of them's got a cup of coffee. They're strolling across the park.
Yeah, it's all right for some, isn't it?
Yeah. I wonder if there's any prawn sandwiches in there. I don't know.
No, I bet there isn't. No. Not here. The Oxford manager Carl Robertson just looks up to the Oxford dignitaries away to our right. There's a little thumbs up. This one still, as we expected it to be, intriguingly poised. Such little to choose between the two teams over the course of the regular season, and little to choose between them tonight nothing in terms of the scoreline. Pompey with the majority of possession will feel that they played the better, but it's Oxford attacking right from the start of the second half. There's Marcus Brown, who's been the danger man, and again just using the invitation of the ball at his feet to run at Christian Burgess, who's blocked him off.
He's a lucky boy here, Burgess, I think, if he gets away with that.
Well, it's not going to be a yellow card, and I agree, Dave. I'm very surprised that Gavin Ward, who has a reputation of being one of the referees who's a bit of a stickler, didn't produce a caution for that, because it was cynical. Burgess knew exactly what he was doing. It was a hefty fall for Brown. He's back on his feet, and play resumes with Oxford, kicking from left to right in their white shirts and very dark blue shorts. Harness knocks it away on the edge of the area this time, and then Cannon's layoff will try and get Curtis going down the Portsmouth left. Curtis past one Oxford player Henry, but not past the second Long. He's fouled him, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Oxford just outside their own box. Let me just reiterate the two teams for you. For Portsmouth, Bass in goal, McCrory, Burgess, Raggett and Brown, Morrison, McGeehan, Harness, Cannon and Curtis, and Harrison up front. Oxford, Eastwood in goal, Long, Dickey, Moore and Ruffles, Woodburn, Goran and Brannigan, Henry, Taylor and Brown, the forward three. Plenty of attacking options for both sides on the bench, as you would imagine, but no sign of any substitutes so far.
They look re-energised, don't they? To me, Oxford, they come out real spring in their step, the tempo's lifted, they're moving the ball, they're zipping it quicker across the park. Maybe that, I think that goal's given them that little bit of confidence, a little boost just before half-time. They're back in the game.
Their away record over the course of the regular season, Oxford 6-6-6, with victories at Lincoln, impressively at Rotherham and at Ipswich in that run as well. Here's Dickey bringing it forward into Portsmouth territory. It was 1-1 when the two sides met here in the league back in November, when an Evans penalty for Pompey was cancelled out by Matty Taylor as the clock ticked into the 90th minute. Harrison has done really well. Great industry from him to come back and intelligently get in between Dickey and the ball and win a free kick.
Great play again. You know, Dickey takes a little bit too long on the ball, too casual. There's Harrison, being so alert all game. They just need to get him the ball a little bit more often.
Sean Raggett for Portsmouth, high towards the edge of the penalty area, where it's easily dealt with by Dickey, nodding it forward into space. But Bryn Morris is first to the loose ball, finds McCrory, back for Morris again, now to McGeehan, who's 5 yards inside the Oxford halves. He picks up possession, the tall, blonde-haired player on loan from Barnsley. Back out towards the right-hand touchline now for McCrory. He can't find a way through either, but it will be another Portsmouth throw. This one's midway inside the Oxford half. Pompey kicking from right to left towards the Fratton end here at Fratton Park. Another opportunity for McCrory to try and find a way through, but he was just a little bit overzealous there. Marcus Brown has been excellent, really grown into the game. He has put a shift in defensively, as well as all the flair that he has pushing forward, and he just stopped McCrory in his path there and drew the free kick, which will be taken by Simon Eastwood. It's Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1, and you're with TalkSport 2. David Connolly.
Well, it's been a good game, isn't it? Really good game so far. Evenly poised, evenly matched, these two teams.
Harrison going up for it with Rob Dickey. Harness lets it run out of play, and it's a throw which will be taken on halfway by McCrory for Portsmouth, who won 13 out of the 18 games immediately prior to lockdown, and 14 of the last 17 in all competitions here at Fratton Park.
Some record, isn't it? It really is.
Hugely impressive. You wonder how. I mean, I know it's entirely academic, because if the season had continued, then these two sides wouldn't have met in the playoffs in March. But you just, with the form that they were both in immediately prior to lockdown, you just wonder what a spectacle it would have been had they met then again. The ball is over on the left with Ruffles for Oxford. Henry making a run from out to in, tried to draw Burgess across in that near post area, but it's cleared easily by the soon-to-depart Pompey Player of the Year, and it goes out for a throw. It'll be taken over on that Oxford left again.
Well, that's how narrow he's playing, James Henry. I mean, he's playing on the right wing, but Kenny will know he often likes to drift infield. He actually went ahead of Matty Taylor there, almost playing as a second striker at times.
Brannigan can't find a way through. Norcombe Woodburn, who goes down on the edge of the penalty area. Harrison holding it up well. Wrestled to the ground by Elliot Moore. Play allowed to go on, and as they worked it out towards Brown, he ran out of room. So it's a throw that will be taken on the Portsmouth right by Ross McCrory, who was sent off on his Pompey debut at Shrewsbury earlier this season, but has done a good job since in that right back role. He launches it forward here, helped on by Harness. Harrison just blocked off by Moore, who made no attempt to either play the ball or get out of the way of Harrison, as he's entitled to do. Long clearance from Eastwood, returned with a header from Burgess to the halfway line, brought down neatly in that midfield area again by Brannigan. Now Brown, who will try and get away from McGeehan. McGeehan did well just to stick a foot in and half flick it away from his man, and then when the whistle blows, it will be a free kick that Pompey will take for a foul on Bryn Morris, and one that McGeehan looks to take quickly, but he's going to end up abdicating responsibility so that Burgess can take it and play in Raggett. Sean Raggett, who was a part of the Lincoln side that reached the FA Cup quarter-finals as a non-league team a few years ago. And he has it right in front of us on the left. Clip forward, beautiful cushion header from Harrison. Curtis, the Portsmouth goal scorer and leading scorer, gives chase. And the clearance puts it out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Pompey left, but they're making good ground here towards the edge of the penalty area. Throw taken by Brown, finds Morris. Morris back behind square for McGeehan. McCrory in space to his right. That's the pass that is played. Brown, Marcus Brown that is, going out there. McGeehan can just play it back, and then they work it forward again for McCrory's run. Eastwood with great anticipation, off the line quickly, and was able to get there with half a second to spare at the feet of Ross McCrory. Dickey almost caught in possession inside the penalty area as it was rolled out to him, and Andy Cannon was on him straight away. In the end, he did get it clear, but it was a hasty, hurried clearance that just became a fight ball out towards the touchline.
Well, that's the chances, I guess, that Dickey will take. I mean, Cannon read that. Good pressure from him.
Harness, ball in. Harrison, was he blocked off? Referee says no foul. As he made the run towards the ball, Dickey stood his ground, and Harrison ends up face down in the turf. Now he's back on his feet as the ball is swung inside the area. Ruffles heads it away, and it's out for the first corner of the second half, which is Pompey's fourth of the game.
Yeah, I think he does just ease him out of this here, Rob Dickey, but having a really good battle, these two.
It could be one of the keys to the game, not just tonight, but also, of course, in the second leg. Other striking options on the bench for Pompey include John Marquis and Ollie Hawkins as well, but it's Harrison who's been first choice recently, who's got the start tonight. In comes the corner. Excellent defensive header brought down by McCrory, who misses his kick at the first time of asking, then can't work it inside the box at the second, and Marcus Brown will be able to clear, and Brannigan can do the rest. We're just having another look at Harrison being eased out of the line of fire. I think the referee probably did get it right. It was an initial ball that had come in from the right hand side, and Dickey was protecting the space. Harrison ran into him. Dickey certainly knew what he was doing, but it was good defending.
Well, I think as a centre forward, I've often run into quite a few elbows, a few centre halves bodies. I'm sure Dickey knew exactly what he was doing there.
First substitution is imminent. Sykes on for Oxford in a moment. McGeehan for Portsmouth. 1-1 the score here at Fratton Park. And of course Dance and Chris Uelomo up in Lancashire. Fleetwood against Wickham kicks off at 7:30 after us. Well, Mark Sykes will be coming on. Is it Ben Woodburn who's coming off? Producer Carl nods. And it will be Woodburn off, Sykes on to replace him very shortly. A straight swap in the midfield with the Northern Ireland under-21 international about to make his way onto the field. Portsmouth in possession in the meantime. Send a high ball, far too high as it turns out for Curtis. It's quite a steep camber off the pitch here at Fratton Park, and he nearly ran out of room, but he did well just to take evasive action in the end. So here's the change. Woodburn, who hasn't seen too much football at all this season. He hasn't played since early October, and the man on loan from Liverpool will be replaced here by Mark Sykes, the 22-year-old, who's not too far short of 50 games for Oxford now. So Sykes for Woodburn for Oxford.
I think just Carl Robinson there, just trying to utilise his squad, his players, keeping them fresh, keeping the tempo high. I reckon before the game is out, and they've used, I reckon, nearly all his subs. And he's got a small squad, you see, Carl, so he's got to use them, with that second leg in mind as well.
So it's the same situation for these games as it is as well, but the Premier League matches, you can name 9. Come back to that in a moment as Sykes makes the most of a slight error from Raggett. And a mishit cross just kept Alex Bass honest. He had to catch it, stop it going over the line on the swirling breeze in front of the Milton end. So you've got 9 on the bench, 5 of them can come on, but you can only make those changes in 3 separate junctures throughout the course of the playing time. With none made at half time or in that first half, it is 3.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon, so you never miss any new updates, cause whenever...
Of making steady progress at the right-hand side of the score, 1-1.
Again, you can just see their patterns of play. One centre-half gets it, the winger pops in off the line. This time it's Sykes, comes in off the line. Lovely little lay-off out wider. Jan Long at right back, and the 2 full-backs I know well. They were both there when I was there. Josh Ruffles, who was a midfielder actually, converted into a full-back and has had a terrific career now for Oxford. And Long, obviously, as you said earlier, signed a new deal. Both youngsters come through the academy.
Yeah, he's only 24, Josh Ruffles. 267 Oxford games he's played. Here's Marcus Brown on the edge of the area. Left-footed shot from the man that scored in the first half, and might have been off target anyway, but it took a deflection on its way through and out for an Oxford corner. Number 5 in the game for them.
Superb from Sykes out here on the right-hand side. Good cut-back cross. That's what I was saying. For Portsmouth in the first half, should have done a couple of times. McCrory, for example. Sykes gets it right, cuts it back. Good strike from Brown, gone out for a corner.
A corner which will be taken over on that far touchline, and the flag obligingly just flutters on the breeze, showing that it's going to catch the breeze, this one. It's going to be Henry to take it. Sykes makes a near post run. It's hit in much deeper than that, and in the end into the side netting, as he really swung it with plenty of air underneath it, but it did catch the breeze and then just swirled at the last minute very erratically into the side netting in front of Alex Bass. Goal kick. Portsmouth 1, Oxford United 1, the scoreline here on TalkSport 2. Jim Proudfoot and David Connolly talking through the action in Hampshire. We have got the first leg of the other semi-final coming up straight after this match, as Fleetwood take on Wycombe tomorrow. Across the TalkSport network, 4 back-to-back Premier League matches on game day over on TalkSport. And here on TalkSport 2, we've got Derby Forest, Leicester Palace, we've got the Oaks and the Derby from Epsom, and then the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit. Loads of live sport for you tomorrow here on TalkSport 2. Now a double change will be made very shortly by Portsmouth, and James Bolton, who can play anywhere across the back line, is going to be coming on, and right winger Ryan Williams, the one-time Australian international, will be coming on very shortly as well. So Kenny Jackett just preparing to rotate the pack for the first time. 1-1 the score. The ball out of play for a throw which McCrory will take, and McCrory getting a nod ahead of Bolton at right back today. It'll be interesting to see what role Bolton fulfills when he comes on, because he can play at right back or centre half, or even as a 4.
I got a feeling that both might just be like-for-like changes. I mean, Ryan's had a really good career at Pompey, obviously had a lot of injury problems as well, but he was in great form before the lockdown.
If it is like-for-like, it may well be Harness that will be replaced. He's just involved there with a foul on Gorin in the midfield. And Gorin will...
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon, so you never miss any new updates, cause whenever...
As a result of that, Williams wide on the right. In comes the free kick for Oxford. It's off the top of Raggett's head. Now out of play for a corner. And Henry will hope that this one doesn't catch the breeze in the same way that the last one did. But looking at those flags that have just been taped down on the empty blue seats at the Milton end, it may well, because they're all really blowing. Henry going across to take this corner. 1-1 the score.
You can see they've lined up as well, Oxford. 3 players on the goal line, just trying to impede the goalkeeper. You got Big Elliot Moore in there.
Sykes makes the near post run. Ruffles attacking that near post area as well. And he's come back off a Portsmouth head. It might have been Harness that got to it, and it's gone over his own bar and out of play for another corner. Nervy moments these for the home side as Oxford look to try and cash in on what's been a decent spell of pressure. Henry again to take it.
Yeah, they're nervy because of his delivery. It's so good.
In it comes again into position A. Harness with an excellent header away. Cannon can help it further upfield. Rushing back to retrieve it is Sykes. Sykes with a ball that wasn't the best. Cannon there to seize upon it in the midfield but couldn't make the most of the chance. Brannigan came back and just got his foot in. It'll be a work back to his goalkeeper and Eastwood will clear. Long ball from him. Burgess bullying Taylor legitimately to win possession back for Portsmouth. Now it comes down for Brown. Brown to Morris, to McGeehan. Back from him to Raggett. Now to Burgess. Still 1-1 as Burgess launches it forward, trying to judge the win. And it's a decent ball as well for the run down the right-hand touchline of McCrory. McCrory checking it back towards the edge of the box, looking for Cannon. Initial header won by Henry, but Cannon's done well with his back to the direction of play. He's just been able to stick his right leg to it to feed it out for Harness. Then McCrory crosses. Moore clears that one with his head. Back in similar fashion from McGeehan. And then Harrison's caught his man. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Oxford. And the double change can be made. Williams and Bolton are the players that are coming on. McCrory first off. So it'll be Bolton for McCrory. And then we're expecting it'll be Andy Cannon who will be taken off, keeping some of the powder dry, dare I say, for the second leg.
Well, he's a really good defender, James Bolton. I've seen him here a few times and he's so difficult to get past. Maybe, I don't know, Kenny feels he might need a little bit more help out on that flank with Brown. Burgess has struggled, hasn't he?
So Bolton coming on, Williams already on. Ryan Williams, who was here as a teenager before he left and signed for Fulham. He had a spell at Oxford as well in the 13-14 season where he scored 8 goals, now an Australian international, and he has come on. And James Bolton on as well. And Bolton straight away in the thick of the action, wearing 13 for Portsmouth. Burgess helps him clear. Gorin bringing it down in the midfield, right at the base of that midfield trio for Oxford. Back it comes from him to Elliot Moore. Moore clipping it forward, right-footed. Little flick off from Taylor was divine. Great awareness of what was on around him. Brown with a layoff and Henry with a shot from 30 yards. Bass can make a collapsing save, just diving onto it at the foot of the right-hand post. 1-1.
Yeah, comfortable in the end, wasn't it, for Bass? It's could be something special from that sort of distance. I think Oxford might be better just trying to work it closer to goal.
McGeehan heading it forward. And it's headed back to him by Harness and comes back out for McGeehan again. Bolton making his way forward on the overlap. Williams doesn't use him. He tries to take the direct route inside the penalty area himself. It's cleared by Ruffles and now brought down by the danger man Marcus Brown, who with the ball at his feet has an opportunity to run it. Now a combination of Bolton and Williams, having been Harness and McCrory before that. Henry in the midfield, right in the centre circle. Down towards Long. Sam Long checks back inside, lays it away from Curtis. It's Curtis that gave Portsmouth the lead. It's past the half-hour mark. Marcus Brown equalising 11 minutes later, and both goalkeepers will feel that it should still be 0-0. Free kick won by Oxford. Sykes was the man brought down. The substitute has looked lively since coming on. Referee Ward just asking Oxford to take the free kick from roughly where the infringement took place.
I think he's a really good player, Sykes. I think he's another one like a Gavin White. You know, they got in, and they're also linked with another lad from Linfield, aren't they? Joel Cooper. Obviously got their recruitment right in Northern Ireland.
The free kick will be taken here on the Oxford right, not too far in front of us. James Henry to take it, swinging it in for the aerial targets. It's nodded down and almost broke for Ruffles. Raggett did well to just get a touch to shepherd it back to his goalkeeper and make sure that the ball didn't sit up and hit his arm, because it could have been awkward that. He had Ruffles coming in behind him, but as it turned out, it just went back to Alex Bass away to the right-hand side. And it remains 1-1. Intriguing and crucial second leg coming up next Monday. It kicks off at 5. Chris Uwelimo will be alongside me at the Kassam for that one. And David will be at Wickham for Wycombe against Fleetwood with Dance. Next Monday night, another double bill of playoff action. And of course, the League One playoff final will be coming your way here on TalkSport 2.
It's a bit like double dating that, Jim, isn't it? With me this week and next week.
What can you do? I know my place, don't worry. I noted how you played the rota there. Get the bad one out of the way first. It's a throw which will be taken over on the left by Oxford, over on the far touchline. It's a good turn by Marcus Brown. Got away from Williams. Harness can pick it up. Harness getting away from Brannigan. And now we'll try and work it forward through the midfield where Harrison, ever willing, is fouled, and it's a free kick which will be taken over on that Portsmouth right-hand side. They've still been able to get Matty Taylor playing through the pain barrier to some extent with this slight thigh problem that he's got at the moment, and he's hardly had a kick tonight. He's been nuisance, no doubt about that, but he hasn't had an opportunity to extend that fantastic vein of goal scoring form that's brought him 17 over the course of the season, both for Bristol City and for Oxford. In comes the free kick from Burgess towards the edge of the penalty area. Curtis was his target, 2 Oxford players detailing him, but he's still been able to win the second ball and get there ahead of Sykes, and he will turn one way and then the other, turn back out and was fouled, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Pompey just a couple of yards in from the left-hand touchline. They've taken it quickly with Curtis finding Harness. Harness back for Curtis again, left-footed ball in from him, Peels for handball against Long, but they've got a corner rather than the penalty they wanted.
Yeah, not a bad shout that. At least they took it quickly that time, Portsmouth, rather than just slinging it in the box. I mean, they need a bit more tempo into their play. Been a bit too pedestrian and flat so far in this second half.
Left arm up from Harness, the signal to where the ball is going. Ultimately arrived very deep. Burgess tried to win it. Oxford again do really well to get it away. It was Sam Long, who's had a steady game at right back, who got the decisive touch. Marcus Brown chased after it. Lee Brown was there to guard it back for Bass. High ball forward from him again. Long turning, backpedaling towards the edge of his own penalty area. Twisted the neck to get it away, and Sykes' clearance is blocked by Curtis at point of contact, and out of play for a throw to Oxford in the right back position, and it remains 1 apiece here on TalkSport 2.
Well, producer Carl, he liked that endeavour, didn't he, from Ronan Curtis? Got a little ripple of applause. The crowd do like that as well, a bit of endeavour, and they just need to get going here. I think it's an important little break for Kenny. You know, they haven't come out at all, haven't started well, Portsmouth, and they've lost a lot of the momentum that they had in that first period.
Well, there are a number of ways you can listen to TalkSport 2, of course. We're on DAB+, online at talksport.com. Or you can listen while you're out and about using the TalkSport app. Just swipe left and press play. Also on the app, you can listen back to our documentaries and specialist programmes. So much for you to choose upon if you're just in a position where you're going back to work. Plenty to consider for your commute. 1-1 the scoreline here. Fleetwood against Wycombe to come. And a reminder that Leicester against Palace is our live offering from the Premier League for you here on TalkSport 2 tomorrow, with 4 more games over on a sister station, TalkSport. This one 1-1 with a quarter of this first leg remaining, and clearly you have to look at it as the piece as a whole. You can't just concentrate on tonight's game. No. We knew that it was going to be relatively tight between the pair of them. You're expecting a relatively cagey final 20-odd minutes here ahead of the second leg? Yeah,
possibly. I mean, if you look at Oxford, they've probably had, a good half-hour spell here. 10 minutes or so before half-time, maybe a little bit more. And obviously a good 20-odd here, so putting that together, I think Colms will be really pleased. They've restricted Pompey in the second half to a couple of shots from distance. That's about it. Just haven't got going here. I think the goal really took the stuffing out of them, Pompey, because they played so well, and then really to concede more or less off their first attack was disappointing for them. However, it's happened a lot to them this season, so they're used to that.
Big smile on the face of Kenny Jackett, just had his arm round the shoulder of Ronan Curtis, the Irishman, who his 14th goal of the season gave Pompey the lead tonight.
You just wonder as well, Jim, would he go with 2 up top at home, just to try and get this second goal, because he's got John Marquis there. Andy Cannon was terrific in the number 10 role, but Marcus Harness, is he a number 10? I don't think so. He's a wide man. What he's done now is obviously put Harness in the 10. He's got his 2 wingers, but could he get John Marquis on and go 2 up top and really try and get a goal?
Well, Harness has just dropped off into space and found Ryan Williams here. First opportunity for him to run at Ruffles. Good low ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, looking for Harrison. It's cleared. Williams gets it back though. Back from him to McGeehan. Now towards the right-hand touchline for Bolton. Two substitutes combining well. Back for McGeehan. Ball swung in from him. Oxford appealing that Harrison should get an offside flag, and indeed the assistant referee on the far touchline concurs. Rob Dickie walks away, puffing his chest out. Job well done again, marshalling that Oxford back line. Free kick to Oxford on the edge of their own penalty area. It's been a better performance from Pompey tonight, though, than the home leg of the playoffs last year.
Well, that's right. Yeah, dreadful went out of a whimper, didn't they, against Sunderland? But you're right, Rob Dickie marshalling that back line. Whenever Pompey play the ball back, as they did there for the cross, you see that Oxford defence, it squeezes up, they squeeze the play, and I think Pompey just need to lift that ball in a little bit earlier. But it's been marshalled very well.
We're feathering the cap of Carl Robinson and Oxford to get another positive result here at Fratton Park against the team with the best home record in the division. Here's Harness making his way forward, a shot which hit Gorin. Elliot Harrison peeling out towards the right hand side, more than happy to let that one drift over the dead ball line and out for a corner, which Lee Brown will go across to take. 1-1 then with 20 minutes to go. More changes are imminent. So the fourth official, splendid in his white mask, and just getting the instructions from Pompey who the changes are going to be. In comes the corner, Raggett going up for it. It's taken a defensive header last and out for another corner. Pompey's fourth of this second half and seventh of the game, which will be taken on the left flank, and Harness will trot across to take it. It is going to be John Marquis will be on shortly for Portsmouth. The white number 10 visible on the back of his blue shirt as he leans over. Corner though taken from Harness towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Harrison was waiting, hanging in the air. Ball just headed out of his flight path, and then there's a push which has given Oxford a free kick and will give both sides the opportunity to bring on some experience and some firepower. Portsmouth first, straight swap up front. Marquis for Harrison, and Jamie Mackey is going to be coming on for Oxford.
Well, I think Harrison's been absolutely outstanding. Maybe a little bit quiet in this second period, but only because he didn't really have that much of the ball. Oxford had a lot of it, but fantastic in the first half. I would have liked to have seen him and Marquis as a two, maybe just to see if they could grab a goal. I mean, you saw there with that corner, Harness got it. He should have laid it into Harrison. He didn't. He took the shot on. It wasn't really on, and he's not a number 10 for me. However, Kenny's probably looking at Monday, isn't he now? You know, let's keep Harrison fresh. Let's get Johnson game time, and maybe one or the other might start.
Well, Oxford also will make a straight swap up front. And it's the experienced Jamie Mackey who's going to come on for them. The only previous playoff campaign came with Exeter in the conference back some 13 seasons ago. He's now in the autumn of his career, and he comes on to replace Matty Taylor, who again is taken off at this juncture really with that slight thigh strain and also the second leg in mind. Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1. Here's Henry picking up possession, sending it long out towards Sykes, who will sprint after it down by the corner flag. Can't keep it in. The ball seemed to be gathering speed as it rolled down towards that corner flag. It's a pretty steep camber on the pitch here at Fratton Park, as I mentioned earlier, and it was always a losing battle for Sykes. But Portsmouth hemmed in, have a throw which they will take in their own left back position. 1-1 the scoreline, and Lee Brown to take it there. Well,
it's funny in that obviously Marquis and Harrison vying for this sole striker role, but actually they got on really well on and off the pitch, and at times I think the Pompey fans would like to see those two play more often.
Sykes ball inside the area, and just time for Morris to adjust his feet, having controlled it with his left foot, and found that there were very few passing options. He did well to get his right foot to it to hammer it away, and then McGeehan's ball forward goes out, and it's a throw which will be taken on the Oxford left hand side over on that far side. Kenny Jackett in his 5th League One playoff campaign in his managerial career. He won them with Millwall a decade ago. He's also won promotions in his time with Swansea and Wolves. I hope of yet another one here with Portsmouth. Carl Robinson's also won promotion from this division in the past when he was the manager of the MK Dons, who he led to automatic promotion back in 2015.
He didn't do too bad in the South East Counties as well, Kenny Jackett. He was my youth team manager.
Watford, I'm
guessing. Yes,
at
Watford, yeah.
Here, Henry bringing it forward now towards Mackey. Mackey can take the ball and pirouette on the edge of the area. Ball clipped inside the box though, just looped up and was easy for Alex Bass to claim. I'm sure that Kenny would say success in the early days of his managerial career was down to your goals as opposed to the other way around. Bass with a long ball forward here. Marquis battling, and he did well just to let it run through. Williams comes from the right flank into the number 10 position to pick it up, and will lay it out towards Curtis, who hit the post at 0-0 and scored, but they haven't really been able to fashion any opportunities for him in the second period so far. 1-1 the scoreline here on TalkSport 2. Ryan Williams, then Harness, and it's a hand up of apology from Harness that he lost possession cheaply there, and a throw which will be taken on the Oxford United right as we approach the final quarter hour of this first leg.
I mean, his output as a number 10, Harness, hasn't been great, has it, since he's gone in there? So that's where, I don't know, I'd like to see certainly Pompey at home, you know, go with two up top rather than stick with the number 10 and number 10 who isn't really a number 10. Go with two up top and just see if you can take the game to Oxford, because look, in possession, Dickie and Moore, look, you know, they're really, really good. But when they don't have the ball, you know, Harrison was absolutely outstanding. Put two up against them, see what they do.
Marquis has done well. He's fed Williams. He's continued his run inside the penalty area. Williams checks it onto his left foot, has a shot which hit Elliot Moore, and Oxford are able to clear. Out to halfway for McGeehan. Pompey trying to put the pressure on.
But look at that back line from Oxford. Look, every time it goes back, they squeeze up the pitch. There it goes again. Look, goes back to the goalkeeper. They're almost on the halfway line now. They've just brought about 40 yards there and got their side much, much higher up the park.
Just the one shot on target for Portsmouth tonight, and that's to the credit of Oxford. They've only had two themselves, but certainly 1-1 would be an outstanding result, bearing in mind Pompey's record. Wycombe took as many points at home this season as Portsmouth, but goal difference gave Pompey the best home record in the tier. They've got it now with Curtis, left hand side of the penalty area, swung in the penalty area for Elliot Moore to defend, then coming back to meet it, Brannigan can head it away. Harness now back to the direction of play, does well, works it onto his left foot. Very intelligent use of the ball from Curtis, and then Lee Brown with a shot which deflects off Sykes into the side netting for a corner.
Well, that was Stuart Pearce-esque, wasn't it? Lee Brown there on the underlap. We've got Stuart Pearce here, haven't we? Watching Observer. Had Ronan Curtis out wide, he fed Lee Brown on the underlap, came on the inside, good strike across goals, going out for a corner.
That's the corner which will be taken on the left hand side by Harness. Stuart does some coaching work with Portsmouth, which is why he's here today. In comes the corner, and near post area, it's very easily cleared. It was a disappointing delivery, and Henry in the right place to knock it away, and then in the right place to knock the second one away as well, and Marcus Brown will pick it up, and he's got two Pompey players coming back, but he's inside the penalty area. He's trying to get it onto his left foot. He had no cavalry in support to his left, had to do it all himself, and Lee Brown stopped him getting a shot in, and then Sykes has barreled through Brown with a genuine attempt to win the ball, but he caught him late, and Gavin Ward will have a word. It's a free kick to Portsmouth in their left back position, but chances at either end. Marcus Brown looking lethal on the counter.
Yes, although he looks a little bit leggy now. I think that maybe if that was Marcus in the first half, I think he would have carried that in towards goal, but he just ran out of steam and just invited a challenge. But there's a couple of Oxford players now. Marcus Brown's one of them. There might be another one with a touch of cramp.
Yeah, over on the far touchline, Jamie Mackey is
is it?
Just sorting.
Maybe that's not cramp then. That's probably not cramp. He's only been on a couple of minutes, so that's not cramp. That's a pull. He's done. Carl Robinson's just given the signal. That's Jamie's game over, so it's going to be another change.
I think Mackey's okay. Mackey is just on his feet, speaking to the referee. Can't see who the player is down.
Sorry, no, you're right. So it's not Mackey. It's
Ruffles, is it?
It might be just Ruffles.
That's maybe over there on the far touchline, but it's a moment of concern, and Ford is getting ready to come on.
Yeah, it's a blow.
Anthony Ford getting his instructions. A right back who can also play as a right winger. He's won the League One playoff final in the past, and when he was a Rotherham player a couple of years ago.
Brannigan, actually, because Josh Ruffles is.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is Brannigan who's coming off. Ruffles over there on that far touchline. I do beg your pardon. So Brannigan is the player that has been attended to, and so it's going to be a double change. Dan Ajay is going to come on as well as Anthony Ford.
Well, I know Ajay a little bit. When I was coming to the end of my career at AFC Wimbledon, he was in the youth team and got a good move, or a big move, to Burnley. Hasn't quite worked out for him. But he's got amongst the goals of late for Oxford. Obviously nicked one against Shrewsbury as well, just before the lockdown.
So a double change for Oxford, and that constitutes their last change. Although they've only brought 4 players on, they won't be able to make any further amendments to the side now. And a big round of applause from Carl Robinson for Marcus Brown, as he is the other player to make way. So Brannigan and Brown off, and Ajay and Ford are the players that have come on. Made 3 Premier League appearances in his 4 years at Burnley for Dan Ajay, but did come off the bench and score at Shrewsbury in his last appearance. We'll be hoping for more of the same tonight. 1-1 the scoreline. Fleetwood Wycombe to come here on TalkSport 2. And time running out in this first leg, and this second half is going to be extended by a good few minutes of stoppage time, but we've got 9 minutes of the regulation 90 remaining.
Yeah, and they just need to get some momentum here, both teams, because all those changes, all the stoppages, it really interrupts the flow of the game, that's for sure.
Free kick taken by Eastwood towards the edge of the penalty area, brought down by Harness. Harness laying it back for Bryn Morris, who will be delighted to get the minutes under his belt. Bolton knocking it forward, headed on by Williams. Marquis the target. Harness turning neatly in the midfield, wins a free kick. It was an excellent piece of play. Anto Pompey will get Raggett and Burgess forward again. This free kick 25 yards outside, no, not even that, 20 yards outside the penalty area, right of centre. Oxford keeping the line right on the edge of the box. Dickey and Moore, with their commanding voices that you can hear in the background, telling their players exactly where they've got to stand and where to hold the line. In comes the free kicker, left-footed in-swinger, heads go up for it, good save. Burgess met it, and diving away to his right-hand side, it was Eastwood that could tip it round the post for a corner.
Yeah, brilliant header there from Burgess, good save, got down low, palmed it round the post from Eastwood.
Corner will be taken on the Portsmouth left. An in-swinging delivery from Curtis, which just hangs into the hands of the goalkeeper Simon Eastwood, but that was a fine save, and almost the perfect way for Burgess to bow out in his final game at Fratton Park.
Well, that's where they look most likely, don't they, at this moment in time, these set pieces, Pompey.
Long clearance goes from one goalkeeper to the other.
Well, you can hear Derek Fazakli just saying, Easty, hit it over there on the wings. Instead, he's kicked it straight through to the goalkeeper.
Bass also hits his long clearance into a central area, but it's a very congested central area. Burgess brings it back down. McGeehan clips it over the top, but after the whistle has gone, and the free kick is going to go Portsmouth's way. 1-1 with 7.5 minutes of this first leg remaining, and a free kick which Burgess takes behind square for Raggett. And Sean Raggett, who made his name in non-league football with Dover, finds McGeehan, who's tried to ping the Hollywood ball forward for Williams, but overhit it. And it's a goal kick to Oxford, one apiece.
Yeah, just maybe needs to keep it simple. I mean, as I said, I think the flow, the rhythm, momentum sort of lost here for both teams. So many changes. Just try and spend a little bit more time, be a bit braver on the ball. It's almost as if no one really wants to take a risk now. You know, we're not going to play Oxford aren't. Pompey are just going long, you know, risk-free football, and maybe they're both willing to just accept the draw here.
Oxford finished fourth in the realigned table, and fourth place has won promotion in 5 of the last 10 seasons through the playoffs. And we'll also look back to their last 2 games, as I mentioned earlier, with Portsmouth, where they have scored once in the 90th minute and once in the 91st minute to deny Pompey victories on both occasions. You would feel it would be a big step for them if they could nick a late goal here. It's been a much improved Oxford performance in the second half after a slow start. Portsmouth really quick out of the traps, and Kenny Jackie will be frustrated that they didn't make the most of the positions that they were finding themselves in with regularity there. But Oxford will bring it forward here. 1-1 the score. It's worked down towards Ajay. Ajay shown inside by Lee Brown, trying to get it onto his left foot. He's done well, flicks it past McGeehan. Worked forward then by Sykes, but it kind of back off one Portsmouth player into the feet of another. McGeehan will try and get it forward, and then Raggett gets it away. The referee plays the advantage. The offside flag was up. But Lee Brown has the ball at his feet, and Gavin Ward said play on. Raggett now to McGeehan, back for Raggett again. 4 from him to Morris. Burgess just drifts away to the far side of the penalty area for a passing option for Bryn Morris. And now with the ball at Burgess's feet, he can bring it forward. Marquis dropped short, wanting it into feet, and Burgess went long.
Exactly, yeah. Bit of miscommunication there. He just held his run, John, went to go long, then came in short. By the time he'd done that, Burgess was always thinking, I'm just going to put it in behind. And again, it's just another incomplete pass. Too many of them for Pompey in the second half.
Long clearance comes from Eastwood. Returned by Sean Raggett. Looking for Marquis. Rob Dickey can head it away. Burgess brings it down. High clearance from him. Again, catches the breeze, doesn't get it nearly as much distance as he would have expected, and Elliot Moore came to meet it. He heads it away, goes out towards the Oxford left. It'll be pulled down towards the edge of the penalty area and laid back to the fullback Ruffles. Now from him to Gorin. Gorin through the midfield. Laid off by Henry. Dickey back towards Henry. Ajay couldn't quite get there. As it's flicked back into the left back position for Lee Brown. Ajay made sure that he was an imposing obstacle to pass as the ball was cleared down the left hand side by Brown. Ajay had done really well, got in the way, great intelligent work off the ball, and it's out for a throw that'll be taken on the left hand side by Brown for Portsmouth. 1-1 the scoreline, with time fast running out, 3.5 to go. Into the feet of Marquis. Curtis will be able to bring it forward. He's got the better of Long, who's blowing a bit, and then Gorin has come back, brought him down, knew exactly what he was doing there. It'll be a yellow, not a red, because there were other covering defenders coming back in. The challenge a good 3 or 4 yards outside the penalty area, but that was a professional foul from the Spaniard. He knew the danger of letting him get past him with the ball, so it didn't happen.
No, that's right, but his teammates have said to him, look, we had cover, we were okay, because this is in a really good area. It's a couple of yards outside the box. Obviously the height that Pompey possess, their delivery as well. Was that necessary? I think his teammates feel that maybe they would have got back, and it wasn't. However, he took one for the team.
We're in the 88th minute at Fratton Park. It's 1-1. Is there going to be late drama in the match between these two yet again this season?
Well, look, it looks like Burgess, he went up, then he was told to go back as if it's not going to be aimed to the back post. Now he's gone back up as if it is going to be aimed into the box, so we'll have to wait and see.
But as a result of that, and that late movement, he's free inside the penalty area. Dickey has got his hands full. He's trying to deal with Raggett. 3 in the wall. The free kick is on the left-hand side of the box, 3 yards outside the box. In from Harness, too much on it, and easily claimed by Eastwood.
Yeah, poor delivery. I mean, I think he's had a really poor second half. Marcus, I don't think it suited him playing this number 10 role. The ball, the delivery in far too close to the goalkeeper. You've got to give your players, your teammates a chance, and he just didn't do that there.
I'd almost go down as a shot on target from Eastwood as he whacked it forward 80 yards, and the breeze clearly is blowing from left to right. That's in Oxford's favour in this second half. It took one bounce on the edge of the penalty area, and Alex Pass had to take a couple of hasty steps back. And in the 89th minute, it's 1 apiece, and the ball is over on the Oxford left with Sykes. Bolton across, gets it out of play for a throw, which will be taken by Oxford. Pompey can still make 2 more changes as long as they make it a double. Oxford have rotated the pack as much as they are allowed. Ahead of the second leg, which is the early game again of the 2 on Monday night, and it's live here on TalkSport 2. That one, of course, will give us a defining moment. We haven't had one here tonight. Curtis lets the ball run out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Portsmouth left by Brown, just in front of the assistant referee, Nigel Ludd. Brown dries the ball on his hands, then dries his hands on his blue Portsmouth shirt, nicks 3 or 4 yards, hurls it down the line. Curtis helping it on. Harness trying to shepherd the ball back for McGeehan. McGeehan couldn't use his body effectively, but was fouled by James Henry, and it's a free kick for Portsmouth as we go into the final minute of the 90, and a free kick that they will try and get forward as quickly as possible, although in the end they elected to go back behind square for Raggett. Now they can build though, out towards the right for Christian Burgess, who comes to the halfway line. Find out very shortly how many additional minutes are going to be played. Could easily be 4. Harness into the feet of Marquis. Marquis being shadowed all the way by Moore. It's 5 minutes of stoppage time that is shown by 4th official Donoghue. Morris into the feet of Marquis. Marquis trying to turn towards the edge of the penalty area. Has to drop off a good 20 yards. Former Doncaster man laying it down towards the left-hand side for Lee Brown. Curtis swings it inside the area. Williams goes up for it, but it was a white shirt that won it, and it's cleared down the left-hand touchline intelligently by Ford. Sykes losing out to the industrious Williams, who feels very hard done by. The referee has given a free kick against him there for a foul on Sykes. Oxford will be in no hurry to take that with 4.5 minutes of stoppage time still to go.
No, that's right, and I think both sides here, as you said, you thought Pompey were going to play it forward quickly, as we did, at our home team, but no, they went backwards, and I guess maybe that's a sign that they're happy to settle for a point here. Well, it's not a point, a draw, I guess.
No away goals in the playoffs, of course, so it wouldn't have mattered whether this was 1-1, 0-0, 5-5 from that perspective. Oxford still hoping that they can yet garner a first leg advantage to take back to the Kassam on Monday. Burgess clears this free kick, goes out towards the far touchline and out for a throw that'll be taken on the Portsmouth right. And there's not a great hurry from either set of players. 1-1, we get another draw between these two, will just about set it up perfectly, but Carl Robinson might feel that he's very slightly ahead of the curve with the fact that Pompey are a much better side at home than away, and Oxford conversely slightly better side away from home than they are at home.
Well, what's interesting, Jim, is that I did hear that Oxford had a couple of practice games, although they were called off. They put on a couple at the Kassam, with the PA, with all the announcements, with the kit and everything. So maybe I think they've prepared certainly to play at the Kassam in a game that they need a win. That's for sure.
I talked earlier about John Westwood, the famous Portsmouth fan who stands in the Fratton end, rings his bell. Well, he's outside. He's not in the Fratton end. He's outside the Fratton end, ringing his bell. It has been heard. He's here. Obviously, sad for fans, not just John, but of any club who have such a long streak of games behind them, particularly, have never missed a game for years. The situation that we find ourselves in, and here's hoping, we're not losing sight of the privileged position we are to be in here and able to describe the action for you. Here's hoping we'll all be in here and watching your club play very soon.
Well, even though we're allowed to be in here, it's still quite hard to get in though, Jim, wasn't it? Don't you? But they're pretty stringent, as you can understand and expect. Various checks and following the one-way system, the traffic light system, etc. Well, very well done, but as you said, it's hard to get a ticket for it.
Rightly so. 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. Ball headed forward. It's 1-1, close to the figure of Williams over on that right-hand touchline. It was Morris that found him. A lovely ball from McGeehan to Curtis. And Curtis can turn. He's put under pressure, and good pressure as well by Long. And Curtis just feigned to knock the ball back to the left-hand side for Raggett as he went the other way to Brown, whose cross is repelled with a diving header and out for a throw, which will be taken on the Portsmouth left. 90 seconds left. Throw which Lee Brown will take for Portsmouth. Thrown inside the box, coming together. Ajay on Curtis. Referee disinterested. Play goes on with Curtis. Ball inside the penalty area from Brown's delivery. It's headed over the bar, and a corner is given. And this time it's the Oxford players who are incredulous with the decision. But Portsmouth were convinced they should have had a penalty.
Well, Ajay here, I just wonder, maybe is there a little clash of feet? It's a tough one.
In comes the corner. Deep one for Burgess. It's headed it down into the shoulder of the nearest Oxford player, Rob Dickey. And out for another corner, which is Portsmouth's 11th of the game and their 8th of this second half alone. 35 seconds remain. Lee Brown will go across to take it. Everybody forward with the exception of the goalkeeper and McGeehan, and he's only 20 yards outside the penalty area. Oxford understandably have got everybody back. Only Ajay's not in the penalty area. In comes the left-footed in-swinging delivery. Flicked at the far post, not effectively by Curtis, who's the last touch on that. It was Curtis's, and you go out of play for a goal kick, and that'll be that, 1-1.
Well, it's been nip and tuck, hasn't it, Jim, I guess, as we thought it would be. These games, well, certainly between these two teams, always are. Never much in it, so it's proved tonight.
Well, the 5 minutes of stoppage time are up. And Simon Eastwood will use the old pros trick, retrieving the ball from the right-hand touchline, going out to the left-hand side of the 6-yard box to take it, as he's entitled to do, and then changing his mind and going back to the right-hand side of the box, and he clatters it upfield, and his is the last kick of the game. So ostensibly we're no closer to knowing who it will be that will be going through to the League One playoff final. But Portsmouth's long barren streak in the playoffs continues. They've still never won a playoff match, and they surround the referee now, claiming that they should have had a penalty right at the end of the game. It wasn't given, both goals in the first half, and it'll be 1-1 as we go to the Kassam on Monday.
Jim, thank you very much. Pompey better in the first half, Oxford far more in the game's second half. Cole Robinson, Dave Conley, he'll be the far happier of the bosses, won't he?
Yeah, he will. I think they ended the first half well. Obviously got their goal, started the second half in a similar fashion, and Pompey just didn't get going, and in the end I think culmination, substitutions, drinks breaks, etc. Momentum was lost. Not a great second half from Portsmouth, but I got to say first half they were really, really good, got the goal they deserved, and maybe if they had got another one they might have got the victory.
We still can't separate them, Dave, can we? Oxford, no. Pompey go at it Monday night at the Kassam. To Jim, to Dave, thank you for your excellent work getting things started tonight. League One playoff semi-final action. The first leg then finishing Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1. We are done at Fratton. Let's next get off to the Fylde Coast.
Joe Jacobson looking to double the lead. Here he goes, straight down the middle, and it's 2 goals in 2 minutes for Wycombe Wanderers. Happy birthday, Joe Jacobson.
As long as we get there, I'm not bothered who scores or what happens. You know, we've got 2 very, very difficult games against, you know, a very sort of streetwise professional Fleetwood Town, and you know, I'm sure Joey Barton will have them very, very fired up.
Hunter, right footed out, swinging delivery, headed down and in, and Fleetwood take the lead. It's a wonderful moment for the team from the Fylde Coast. Fleetwood have scored at Sunderland.
When I've got the group of men that I've got to go into battle with, you don't worry about what you face. We're superbly prepared. There's been no stone left unturned in our preparation. And my belief is if you do that, the score takes care of itself.
Well, Fleetwood finished their regular season with a bang, and they continue where they left off by beating Wycombe in the first leg of their rather belated League One playoff first leg encounter. The Wanderers, well, they just love ripping up the script, defying the odds. Some said they don't deserve this promotion opportunity after points per game intervened. Gareth Ainsworth is just out to prove everyone wrong once again. Live from Highbury Stadium, kick-off just around the corner. Let's bring you full team news now on TalkSport 2 with our match commentator. A very good evening to Ian Danter.
Well, 3 changes for either side tonight if you look at their last lineups before lockdown, if that really counts for anything, because Fleetwood have got their squad pretty much back to full strength, and so too Wycombe. It looks like a change of formation though for the Cod Army, going for a 3-4-3 it would appear. Alex Cairns the goalkeeper, Harry Souttar, Lewis Gibson and Louis Coyle as 3 centre halves, and then skipper Paul Coots, Callum Connolly, Glenn Whelan and Josh Morris in front of them, and 3 strikers, Wes Burns, Barry Mackay and Ched Evans. Top scorer Paddy Madden is amongst the substitutes. Wycombe's top scorer is also on the bench. Adebayo Akinfenwa has 10 to his name, but he's not used from the start by Gareth Ainsworth. They make 3 changes. Grimmer, Bloomfield and Offerball come into the lineup from their last game, which was a 3-1 defeat at the end of February against Doncaster. Ryan Alsop is the goalkeeper. Jack Grimmer, Anthony Stewart, Darius Charles and Joe Jacobson in a back 4. David Wheeler, Matt Bloomfield and Namdi Offerball in midfield, with Fred Onyedinma and Dominic Gate wide, supporting Alex Samuel up front. Dan,
thank you very much. Yeah, interesting calls. Ched Evans, the focal point for the hosts. Paddy Madden probably set to have an impact off the bench at some point. Wycombe gone with legs. Alex Samuel up front getting the nod over Bayo Akinfenwa. Chris Owelamo, our summariser, the former Stoke Wolves Charlton striker. Fleetwood super confident ahead of this evening. Wickham, they'll back themselves. They were supposed to be in a relegation fight. They certainly aren't. Where's this tie, Chris, for you going to be won or lost?
Well, it's about who scores goals, isn't it? That's for me. It's about who creates the chances, who's clinical at the end of the day. I think both teams have shown that they've got the right to be here. You look at Wickham, overachieving, punching above their weight, but they've delivered season in, season out. I think a lot of credit goes to Ainsworth for creating that environment, giving the players the belief to go out and express themselves and do exactly what they do. I think you look at Fleetwood, an extension of their manager. The way that he holds himself, that arrogance, the belief that they have in themselves. They know what they're about, they know what their strengths are. But it's all about who implements that style, who wants it more. I say to you, a game can be won on the first challenge or a header, and that's what it's all about. So it's going to be game on, fantastic game.
Well, shortly at Highbury Stadium, the two sets of players, a minute's silence. They will pay respects to all those we've lost, all those that have bravely fought against coronavirus.
And all those who are helping to get us through this very difficult period.
I've just seen Gareth Ainsworth in a leather jacket. Let's bring you the start here on your home of the EFL. Talk Sport 2, the first leg of Fleetwood against Wickham in the company of our commentary team, Chris Owellamo. But first, Ian Danter.
Thank you, Dan, and welcome to Fleetwood. So it's arguably the highest profile name in the EFL as a manager, up against the longest serving manager in English football. Joey Barton in the playoffs for the first time as a boss in his second season in charge at Highbury, up against Gareth Ainsworth, the man who is on 7 years and 283 days in charge of Wycombe Wanderers in this first leg of the playoff semi-final. More of a controversial selection for Wycombe than others. All the players take the knee, and the officials in support of the Black Lives Matter campaign. Referee Tony Harrington blows his whistle, and the kickoff was taken rather too quickly by Paul Coots for the referee's liking. But Wycombe will be defending the memorial stand away to our right, and Fleetwood in there. Oh, it's going to be another delayed kickoff because the Wycombe players were scampering all too quickly into the Fleetwood half. Finally, we're underway on Talk Sport 2. Fleetwood Town in their red shirts with the white sleeves, white shorts and red socks, and Wycombe in their first choice colours of those dark and light blue quarters with the dark blue shorts and socks. I'll run you through the lineups again in just a minute, but it does look as though a change of system for Fleetwood, and they're in possession with Glenn Whelan immediately trying to release Josh Morris through the centre. He's well offside as the assistant on this near side flag, so it's a free kick to Wycombe Wanderers.
Good little balled-up play there as well. It comes through to Josh Morris, who's offside, but plays to a finish. Neat little chip over the keeper as well. Yeah, you're looking at the back there, aren't you? It's Conley on the right, Suter in the middle, and it's Gibson on the left as a 3.
Yeah, Callum Conley's normally a midfielder. The chap on loan from Everton. There's a number of loanees here at Fleetwood. That was the voice of Chris Owellamo you heard, incidentally, who's sat behind me in the director's box, showing off. It's a bit breezy here, as you might hear on our microphones this evening, but shouldn't really interrupt the football. Might break here for a... Oh my God! What a strike from Nnamdi Offabor! The young Nigerian has just run onto the ball 25 yards out and cracked it low, left-footed, past Alex Cairns and into the bottom corner, and Wycombe Wanderers hit the front inside 90 seconds at Highbury. Fleetwood 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1.
What a finish that is, Dance. It's just a direct ball up. David Wheeler wins the head and it comes inside. You know, Fleetwood, they don't clear their lines, and you know what? Nambi on for bar. What a finish that is. Keeper has no chance, Dance, does he?
That's his first senior goal. He's on loan from Bournemouth, made his debut back in September, having come up to Wycombe from the Vitality Stadium, and the young Nigerian under-20 star has given Wycombe one heck of a start here on TalkSport 2. An early goal puts the Chair boys ahead, and we're back underway on TalkSport 2, and now it's how the Cod Army respond, and they're trying to get away down the left-hand side. They've just won themselves a free kick. A foul there gives them a free kick. It was Barry Mackay who was brought down, and referee awards Fleetwood a free kick out on the left-hand side, almost at the left-hand corner of the box. And the wind, well, I'm not sure whether it's going to help or hinder set pieces sent into the box tonight, Chris.
Yeah, well, definitely affect the quality. You know, I think it's just one of them that's, you just got to gamble for everything. You know, you think you won't be able to judge the ball as you usually would. So as an attacking team, you've got to be on your front foot and just try and anticipate. You know, I think don't react.
Mackay's free kick for Fleetwood. It's gone to the far post. It's kept in play by Wes Burns. Oh, the player goes down inside the area, claiming that he was caught by Ryan Alsop, and he's given a penalty, the referee. The linesman, the assistant on this near side, has given the penalty. The foul was on Lewis Gibson by Ryan Alsop, and straight away Fleetwood have the chance to equalise from the penalty spot.
Well, I tell you what, it was very soft. I have to say that it was Ryan Alsop. He did